Hello, anybody hear me? Are we there? Are we live? Are you seeing pictures? Are you hearing sounds? Tell me in the chat, so I know. I think we're getting pictures. Hey Scott, hey Rustin, hey Rat Pack. Can you see me and hear me okay? Are we doing the moving and the talking and the... Yes, brilliant. Right, we'll give it a few minutes for people to amble on in. I think it's fine. Hey, Gwenelle. Gwenelle Dupré. Bonjour. Bonjour Gwenelle, comment ça va? Ça va bien, merci. Give it a couple of minutes for folks to come in. And then we'll start. I have my enormous cup of coffee. Always have my enormous cup of coffee ready. Oh. Geeking it with Cody. Hey, Cody. Ryzen, hello. Jared B, hey. Welcome to you all. This is very last minute. I just kind of got in from the shops and thought, you know what, screw it, let's do a live stream. Oheo gozamatsu. Oheo gozamatsu. I know that's Japanese. Hey, John. See what you made me do? You made me go out to the Warhammer store and buy a lot of paints and then get this off the shelf. That's what you made me do. You and your land speeder. I don't know. Giving it a minute for people to come in. Hey, the Orc boys. White Knight, hello. Alors, aujourd'hui, nous sommes préparés le Space Wolves Stormfang. Ooh, I kind of swallowed half. Funny then. I was trying to do a bit of French then. It didn't really work. My rusty schoolboy French. Hey, Stephen, Guillaume, Stefan. Stephen says, hey, Fox, just want to say that you're an inspiration to get me back into modelling. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope to keep so. It's my job. It's my living. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm glad it helped, though. John says, ha, working on the land speeder now. Well, thank you very much, Gwenelle. Je parle un petit peu de français. Not a lot. Juste un peu. Need a Stormfang from my army. It's an awesome transport. Your French is still good. Yeah, it's been 25, 30 years. I always wanted to learn German, but I learned French instead. Oh well. C'est bon. Yes. A few more minutes. Yes, John, it's totally your fault. Totally your fault. I mentioned this on Chris's live stream last night. And then I thought, this morning I got up and I thought, it's Saturday. The Warhammer store is open. Let's go horribly wrong. Guten Tag. Guten Tag, meine Freunde. That's as much as I can say in German. I always wanted to learn German, I never did. Adjust my microphone. Keep doing this with my hand so you know the picture hasn't frozen. If I just sit still, you won't know what's going on. You'll think the picture's frozen. Enormous swig of coffee. I've discovered a serious issue with my manly lumberjack beard and my enormous cup of coffee. Every time I take a swig of coffee, I get wet moustache. It's not good. Right, shall we get going? Who has just come in? Who's just come in? Who's just come in? Ilse van Jan de Wurf. Jan, hey Jan. Stefan Lass says, Achtung, Venusnischel! Vorsicht-Granate! Mehr Munition here! Ratpack says, I want to buy more stuff too, looks behind him, but you know, you've seen my shitlog. Yes. John Bayer says, that Warhammer store is addictive, made my first visit over the Christmas holiday myself. Yes, and now you have no money left. My local Warhammer store is a fantastic place. John, I think it's John, the manager, is a top guy. I go in there. I went in there today, and he was talking to a customer. I just made a beeline for the paint section because I needed to get some paints. And I heard him saying to this guy, "Oh yeah, he does YouTube stuff, and he comes in and he just goes, I need this, I need this, I need this," and then he goes away for a few months. Got a reputation already. Excuse me, I've also got a tickly cough, so I apologise in advance. Guten Tag, says Jan. Guten Tag. Don't make me pronounce Dutch, you know it goes wrong. Christopher, hi Christopher. Right, shall we get going? Now, as I'm doing a live stream, the moment I turn the camera on, I've got the sniffly nose, so apologies. I don't know what it is. As soon as I turn the camera on, I get a sniffly nose. And a tickly cough. Fantastic. Right, what are we doing? Well, as you know, I'm still working on the mega size Unicorn Gundam. But I've just done a gunk wash on the interior frame parts, and that's got to sit for 5 days. And I could crack on with the rifle and other bits and bobs, but I've been itching for a while to get on with this and some of the Warhammer stuff. So I thought I've got a few days to get on with this, so I can make a start on this, get it prepped. I might even be able to finish it. Yeah, right. I doubt it. This is you chat, by the way. This is you people here. Jan says that is why he typed it, because he knows I can't speak Dutch. Alejandro, hello. I hope I got that right, Alejandro. Hello. Sniffly nose again. So I've been itching to crack on with this. You know me. I get bored very easily. I've got a very low boredom threshold, so even when I'm in the middle of a build, I can get bored of it. And as I've always said in the past, when you're working away and you start to lag or just flag on a build, just put it to one side and crack on with something else. Now I'm lucky and I've got 5 days for the oil paint. Hello Anthony. I've got 5 days for the oil paint on the Unicorn to dry, so I can get on with this and I can scratch this itch. The thing I've learned over the years, because of my exceptional low boredom threshold, if I get the itch to build something, Christopher Undrit says, is this available later as the kids are starting to murder each other and I may need to start the forensics? Well, the first solution there, Christopher, is just sell the children. Just sell them. Yes, this will be archived. Once it's finished, it'll be up on the YouTubes anyway. All live streams get archived to a video you can watch later. But I'm sure this will go for a few hours, so just put them in a box, put the box in the boot of the car, drive it out somewhere, leave it there, get a taxi back, you're fine. Yes, the one thing I've learned is, if I get an itch to build something, I can't afford to ignore it, because if I ignore it, if I'm building something and I want to build something else, if I don't then go and do that kit as the next build, I'll be frustrated and I'll hate whatever I'm building. So this is the next build after the Unicorn, but I'm going to make a start on it now. Now I know a lot of you will be like, no, you can't not do Gundam. You got to do Gunpla all the time. I don't just do Gunpla. You have to remember, this isn't a Gunpla channel. This is a model making channel. It's just that I tend to do a lot of Gunpla. But I've got the itch to do a Warhammer, so I need to get it out of my system. So this is the next thing. So Christopher says, you'll consider the advice on selling the children. Consider it and do it. So this is the Stormfang. It's a rather lovely kit. I've only done a couple of Warhammer kits, and the first one I did was the Tau thing. Tau little speeder thing, and I absolutely adored it. It was the best thing I'd ever built. And I was instantly smitten on Warhammer stuff. So yeah, so expect more Warhammer in the future. That's what we're building. It's this puppy. On the back of the box, it shows a couple of colour variations. Basically, they're all very similar, apart from the pattern around the engine intakes, which is either yellow and black triangles or red with white striped triangles. Yeah, not looking forward to that. You're supposed to do that freehand. You don't get decals for that. You've got to do it freehand. It's like, oh, bloody hell. Paint that pattern there. It's going to be fun. So, what I'm going to do is put that box over there. And then probably need it again in a few minutes. So, I got myself the Stormfang. I've also got the Valkyrie waiting. Rat Pack says... sorry, the J-Mad says, no, Fox, it's a Stormfangergefahrten. Das ist ein Stormfangergefahrten mit the flying und the shooting und the engine with the glowing. Ja, das ist richtig. I'm not going to get anything done, am I? We're just going to be chatting for about 3 hours. So I've got this and I've got the Valkyrie, but I decided to do this one because I can probably get this one done quicker than the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is awesome. It's like a dropship. So what do you get? Well, you get a lovely Games Workshop instruction manual, which has about 5 words in it, and then just many, many pictures. It kind of reminds me of Lego. It's just dead simple. It's just not complicated at all. He says, assuming it's not complicated. hoping it's not complicated. And you get a whole mess of decals. Now, there are actually no decal callouts in the instructions. You just go off the box art. You get a whole mess of decals, but these are all generic symbols that you can use on lots of other kits. So I'll be using some of those. The problem I've found with Warhammer is I could make it look like what it's supposed to look like, you know, go for the right colours, or I could do something completely custom. And my initial thought was to do this in a kind of Star Wars used universe style, where it's like maybe white with coloured patches, or a light colour with coloured patches, and lots of paint chipping where the colour's coming off and you can see the base colour. And I thought that'd be brilliant. And then I thought, yeah, but then I can't sell it, because the problem is, because these are tabletop miniatures for tabletop gaming, obviously when I've built this I'm going to be selling it. If I don't do it the standard colours, no one's going to buy it to put it in their army. The idea is that I'll build this and paint it, and then I can sell it. Somebody who wants one of these in their army, in their Storm Wolves, Space Wolves army, will buy it, and it'll be a really nice piece in their army. Probably make the rest of their stuff look really pants. So I kind of have to go for the official colour scheme, because I've done a couple of other Warhammer things. I've not filmed everything I've ever done, so there are some other Warhammer builds I've done that you haven't seen. And I painted them like my own colour schemes, like I did with the towel thing. Nobody wanted to buy them because it doesn't fit with your army. So some people buy them just to display them, but a lot of people, when you sell these things, majority of people buying them are going to be people buying it for their army. So, yeah. The J-Man says, yeah, das ist gut, Fox. Das ist richtig. What we're saying in chat. I want to do other things beside Gunpla. I have so much of it. Yes. The thing to remember as well is, because every time I do a non-Gunpla kit, people do explode. The internet explodes and people complain. Most of you guys kind of just, I mean, 99%, this is really negative, but 99% of you are like, hey, Fox, when are you going to go do another Gunpla? Are you getting back to Gunpla? You're all, you know, you understand that people don't just do one thing, but there are people out there in the past who've actually attacked me, not physically. They've actually attacked me or demanded that I go back to Gunpla, and it's not how this works. I do this because I love it, and I love building things, so I'm not going to do Gunpla 100% all of the time. Most of you are sensible and understand how real life works, and I just say, hey, brilliant, this is really good, but, you know, you need to go back to Gunpla at some point, please, which is fine. But I have had a few followers who've demanded, and some have actually got quite aggressive with it, and it's like, yeah, you need to step away now. So, yeah. So, but the thing is, whenever I do any kind of build, doesn't matter what the build is, the techniques I use on this are equally as applicable to Gunpla. So if you're just into Gunpla, don't ignore this. You can still learn things from doing these that you can use on Gunpla. Let's have a look what's happening in the chat. The Earl D, hey the Earl. M Plaza says, if you're successful, let me know. I have some to sell as well. Well, so far, I've put, I think, about 4 online for sale. 1 was painted in standard traditional colours and sold. Quite nice. The other 3 were all custom builds, custom paint schemes, and didn't sell. I ended up selling them to somebody I knew. So, yeah. We'll see. But the advantage is if I do it to the official colour schemes, I've kind of got a lot of knowledge to pull on. I've got, you know, I've got the videos on Warhammer TV, I've got other people's builds, I've got all the official colour guides and things. So the beauty of these is a lot of the colour schemes, you're using the Citadel paints. I'm going to be using Citadel paints. You don't have to think too much. So, yeah. Let's have a look what we're doing. Anyway, yes, the Earl says, hello, what sort of mortgage deal did Games Workshop do you on that kit? It does look awesome. I got this about 9 months ago. I think it was about, I don't know how much it was now. It's not a cheap one. It was about 50 or 60 quid, I think, or 40 quid, something like that. They're not cheap. That's the thing with Games Workshop. They are not cheap, so don't expect them to be cheap. Games Workshop pricing is very unusual. It's not like when you go into a model store and you see like a £7 Airfix kit that was, you know, it's a re-release from 1975 and it's probably crap, and then you have like a £75 Airfix kit that's a brand new tooling and quite detailed and quite complex and quite small scale. That's not how these work. The pricing on these isn't really based on the size or the complexity of the kit. It's based on, well, it is to a certain degree, but a lot of it is based on how many of them are you going to buy in your army. So if you buy a unit, like a model of a unit that you're only going to have one of in your army, because you can only have one of them in an army, then that will be a very high price model. Or if it's something like, you might have a big Space Wolves sort of battalion or army, but you might only have 2 Stormfangs because you can't have like 13 Stormfangs or one of the big massive dropships or something like that. So they balance it on how many you're likely to buy. If you like little individual dudes, you could buy hundreds of those for your army, but you're not going to buy lots of these. So the bigger things that you're going to have less of in your army, they'll tend to be more expensive. So pricing for Games Workshop is kind of weird. It makes sense when you think of it that way. Weird though. Let's have a look. Right, chat is heaving. Rat Pack says I want to buy the Bismarck, but it's quite expensive. Save up for it. It's one of those kits that once you've done it, you'll really be glad you did. Valkyrie is an awesome kit and design, says Alejandro. Yes, it is. It is awesome. If you don't know what it is, I'll get it. I'll get it off the shelf. Give me a sec. Oh dear. I just dropped my little Jar Jar Binks model. What a tragedy. That's the Valkyrie. It's like a dropship, and I hope you can see that. That's the Valkyrie. It's awesome. I can't wait to build that. That's just fantastic. It's this brilliant dropship that comes in a number of different colours. You know all this design on the wing? You're supposed to hand paint that. I don't think so. I think you can get decals for it. But Forge World, yeah. Niels Harris says Foxx did not see pop-up. What does that mean? Let's have a look. Guillaume says I love the diversity of models in this channel. Thank you. When I first found you, says Orc Boys, you were building the Das Boat. Yes. Most of the stuff I do is Gunpla, but I do other stuff as well. I'm fickle. I'm like a puppy dog with 5 different tennis balls. I'll always go for something else. Uther says, no worries, man. You build what you want. I remember when you were building subs and military vehicles. Things, if you look at my channels, it does say sci-fi, military, Gundam, and so there you go. Guillaume says, load equals love, of course. Yeah, autocorrect. Hooray. Hey, Mike. Hey, Neil. Mike and Neil and Smoo. Hey, hello, Smoo. Which one do you like, Smoo? This or the dropship? That is kick. I think this was about 40 quid, 45 quid. It's, again, this one isn't as expensive as this one, but this one is a bigger kit. It's weird. The pricing is really strange. That is nice, though. I can't wait. I think there's some bigger ones that are the Forge World, so they're all resin and they're like £12 billion. I would love to do some of the Forge World kits, but I hate you working with resin, so. Totally reminds me of the Aliens dropship, says Guillaume. It does. That's why I like it. What I was tempted to do, but again, if I want to sell it, I can't put stuff on it. I was tempted to paint it and put some Halo UNSC decals all over it to make it like a Halo dropship. Nobody would buy it. Rat Pack 30 says he has the Bismarck, though the terrible and unfinished state, and I wanted again to finish it properly. Yeah, a gift to add an old sick as a gift to an old sick father, as this was a father-son project at one point. Do it. Do it. Faisal, hello. J-Mad, hello. Alien 5, Sharkmouth. Smooth says, I'll take both. Hey, that is nice, that. I do like the design. It's kind of lumpy. Mike Mountain, dropship for me. You're going to bag one? Yes. Now, if you've not made a Warhammer kit before, we've got Valkyrie from Alejandro. Neil says, I love the dropship. The J-Mad says, da-dun, da-dun, dun-dun, dun, etc., etc. Scott, I shall get to your question in a moment. In fact, no, I'll answer it now. Scott says, how much ventilation do I have for your airbrushing, and do you use a window? I have this thing here that you can't see, but the iPad and the microphone's here and the iPad's here is actually my spray booth. It's here. It's one of those little foldable ones you get for like 50, 60 quid, and it folds up. Off the back of that, there's a fan on the back, and off the back of that is a massive bendy like tube like you get on the back of a washing machine. That actually goes out to the window, which is just behind over here somewhere. So yes, it vents out into the window. I do need to change the filter on the back because it's kind of getting a bit clogged. But it's fine. It's not the most powerful fan in the world, but I don't do a lot of spraying all the time. I always wear a respirator, obviously. But it's fine. It works fine. I wouldn't spray lacquers in here because everybody else in the house would instantly want to just beat me senseless and skin me alive. But it's fine for acrylics. Smooth's got the Rhino to build. Yes, I'm looking forward to that, Smooth. I want to see how you do with that. As a never having done a Warhammer, it's interesting to me to see how you come out with it. Now, if you've not built a Warhammer kit before, Oh, I see. The J-Mad's meant to be the Valkyrie theme. Dun, 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 dun. I love the smell of failure in the morning. Yes, now. Smooth says, I hoover my filter. I actually take mine outside and just shake. I've got like 3 or 4 of them. Because it's actually really hard. I bought like 4 because they're really hard to find sometimes. So I buy them in bulk. I take it outside and wave it around and batter it with something, and then I kind of bring it back in because I'm a clamp hand. I don't like throwing something away if I can still get use out of it. Cody, Geeking It with Cody says, oh yeah, the spray booth thing. I actually have an idea, make my own with a cheap bathroom fan and some 3M filters. If you're making your own spray booth, which is a really good idea because it's super cheap, make sure whatever fan you use is I don't know what the actual term is, it's a sealed unit. Don't use like a PC fan. You need to make sure that all the wiring, electronics and sort of, you know, stuff in the fan is sealed away in the case that the fan comes in. If it's a fan with exposed wires, or it's like a PC fan, you're spraying atomized paint in your spray booth, and it's like walking into a grain silo and lighting a match. It could burst into flames. Any little spark from the wiring could ignite because you've got solvents in your paint. It's atomized, so it's like a vapor. It could explode or burst into flames. So always make sure you building your own, use a sealed, completely closed off unit that's just a plastic case with the fan. There's no exposed wiring. Very important. Hey Dave, how you doing? Blimmy, come home from work and stuff is going on, says Dave. Hope you had a good day at work, Dave. Diorama Man is in the house. Yeah, here's a question, Dave. Like 5 minutes ago, you put up a video saying you'd bought this kit, and then the next minute you finished the diorama. How do you work so fast? I mean, you do a great job. They look fantastic. You just kind of go, done. Model built, diorama fit. I don't know how you do it. It takes months. Now, I haven't got any sustenance, Dave. I'm sorry. I've got my enormous mug of coffee, but I didn't get sustenance. Oh, wet moustache. So anyway, yes. So, if you've never built a Warhammer kit before, you've never even seen one, Geeking It says, thanks for preventing me from exploding. I always try and prevent explosions if I can. If you've never done a Warhammer kit, you have missed out. They are incredibly good fun. They're glue kits. There are some figures that are all snap fit things, but they're all glue kits. So if you're one of my regular Gunpla watchers, it's worth watching this because this is a bit of proper glue modelling. The difference between these and kind of other kits is the plastic is massively thick. And all the raised detail is not even on camera, is it? I'm over here somewhere. Let me move my operation centre. All the detail is exceptionally... this will be out of focus, but all the detail is kind of exaggerated. So all the raised little bits and bobs, they stick out, like rivets stick out a mile. You've got these little sort of trim lines here that are huge. You've got like structure there. Everything's nice and chunky because it's designed to be brush painted. The way a lot of people that do Warhammer is it's all brush painting. You don't have to, but it's designed to be that way because you get your army, you get all your figures, you brush paint them all, and it's all done. You can go and play the game. So all the raised detail is overdone and exaggerated, and it makes these an absolute joy to paint. And I have to say, now this won't come out on camera because it is out of focus, but let me see if I can adjust the focus. Hang on, I want to show you this. This could all go horribly wrong right now. I'm doing some stuff. I'm going to change the focus. Let's see what happens. I've got to go into a setting and all that kind of nonsense. Right, so let's have a look. Let's see if we can get this on camera. Where is it? I'm looking at 3 different screens at once, which is kind of confusing. Where you're actually seeing? Ah! Focus. Look at the detail on that. That is absolutely gorgeous. And it's going to be an absolute joy to paint. You've got like a wolf's head there, and you've got all this knot work. That's why I love these kits. The details are fantastic. Right, I've got to adjust the focus back again now. Hang on. Here we go. Let me know if I'm not in focus. So they are a joy to brush paint, and the beauty is you can easily brush paint that. Or say easily, you can brush paint this without too many issues because it's so raised. So the plastic's really thick and chunky. All the detail is super over exaggerated, and they're just fantastic. They are very, very, very simple to build. They're not like 5 parts. You can see it's got 3 sprues, but they go together like a dream. Might get the occasional gap in a panel, but other than that, so yeah, right. What are you doing in chat? Rusted Beetle says, bilge fan. Same to you. Very personal. Used to vent gas fumes from boat engine compartments. That's probably a good idea. Because boat engine compartments tend to have lots of vapours and fuel vapours and stuff. So, yeah, bilge fan. Fox, he have magic fingers. Yeah, that's what all girls say. Smooth says, oh man, got to have some sustenance at the bench. I know, I've got some blue tack. I can eat this bit of blue tack. Won't end well. I've got a big massive biscuit bowl full of biscuits, but they're all digestives, and that's like peas. It's the most boring thing ever. They're not chocolate hobnobs. J-Man says, the Warhammer 40K was my gateway into model making. I do miss it so much, but I just cannot justify going back to it while I'm currently unemployed. I still want to build a Mad Max inspired orc battle wagon. If you've got some of your old builds from years ago and maybe you're not happy with the paint job, why don't you strip them down and repaint them? That's one thing you could do if it's like figures and stuff. One thing you can do, because I'm sure you'll have improved your skills if they were years ago. Slippery Squid says, can anyone recommend some very shiny acrylic metallics that can go through an airbrush? I use Vallejo at the moment and I'm pretty new to painting. Rat Pack says Vallejo metal is sweet. Yes, Vallejo metal, which don't actually come as this messy and kind of scruffed up. Their metals are really, really nice. This is duraluminum, but they have got other ones as well. They are super nice and they go on super smooth. To me, metallics look alright, but they're kind of grainy when you spray them on. They're actually better dry brushed on. Build up a colour with dry brushing. But the Vallejo ones are fantastic. If you want to spray, if you don't mind spraying lacquers, the Mr. Metal, I haven't gone here to show you, but the Mr. Metal buffable metal colours, dark iron, and I think there's a couple of others, chrome, they're really nice. You basically spray them on over a gloss black base, doesn't have to be gloss, and then you buff them and they go quite shiny. They're really nice. Or if you want a really chromy thing, and I've shown this before, if you want a really chromy thing that's dead easy, get some C1 metallizer powder. You spray a gloss black base colour first, either gloss black primer or gloss black paint, and then this is just powder that you put over it and you buff it, and this gives you a really shiny, sort of reflective look. I'll show you my unicorn bit. Find a bit. Yep. I used the C1 on my unicorn. Now it has got a layer of dust on it, but that's the C1 metallizer buffing powder on my mega size unicorn. And as you can see, that's lovely. I've not gloss coated it, and it would be a bit more shiny if it didn't have a layer of dust on it. Yeah. So can't go wrong with the C1 metallizer powder. It's great fun to use. You can also, you know, mask off and things like that. Cheese and Onion says Mike Mountain. Brilliant, I'll send you an e-model sticker. I won't. Tony Black says he's had good results with Citadel paints. Citadel paints metallics are fantastic, and when I do the painting on this, I'll use them. Their golds are really nice if you use the different shade, the different colours together to get different effects. Citadel paints can be sprayed. They're super thick. You can thin them. I thin them with normal Tamiya X20 or the UMP thinner. You have to thin them a bit more than normal. They are quite gloopy, so I find, I don't know percentages, but more than 50-50 probably is about right. But they do go on really nicely. J-Man says, I've got no 40k stuff left, dude. Don't date psycho girls. I learnt the hard way. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah. Well, keep it for a goal for the future then, dude. Keep it for a goal for the future. I mean, if, you know, I suppose if you save up a little bit, you could always start off with a little sort of, one of the little packs that's got 2 or 3 figures in it, or even just one of the single figures, like Gulliman, or one of the, you know, the single figure packs. Get yourself back in that way and get back into the painting. In fact, here's a point. Now, I don't know if all the Warhammer stores will have this, but my local Warhammer store still has loads of the old Dark Vengeance packs. You know, with like 50 figures in it, the old Dark Vengeance game, that's not really valid anymore because it got superseded by the new one, whatever the new one's called. And I forgot to ask him, but I get the feeling if you go into your Warhammer store and they've got some of these old packs that people aren't really going to buy anymore, it could probably do you a good price on them, to be honest. Or even easier, if you've got a bit of money, if you can afford a little bit, there's no harm in going onto eBay, and people sell painted miniatures on eBay that are like absolute gash. They've just gone and it's a complete just clusterflock of nastiness. And they sell like bags of 20 figures, and they're all just horrible. And all you do is you can buy them and strip them down and paint them. And you do find them if you follow Tabletop Minions YouTube channel. He talks about that, how he buys these painted figures for like a few dollars each, because some guy with no talent's painted it and made a complete hash of it, and they just sell them like, you know, a few figures for a few quid, and you strip them down and start, and you get a cheap figure that way. So there you go. Smooth says, varying the base colour under the metallic can give a nice subtle tone change. Yeah. Cheers all. Can't use anything with toxic fumes in the man cave as I've no extraction. Just looking at the Vallejo. Okay, right. If you've got no extraction at all, make sure you do have a window open and do wear a respirator. Even if it's just acrylic paints, because this whole thing of paints are toxic, but acrylic paints are just water-based, it's fine. No, any paint. It could be just nice, simple, you know, poster paint. You're still breathing in particular, you know, aerosolized paint into your lungs, which is not good. So whatever paint you're using, get yourself a nice respirator. Just go onto Amazon and look up 3M respirators, something like that. Not a dust mask, because that's just for dust. Let's have a look. Somebody mentioned Sally James. Right, live stream's over. I've got fantasies to go and work on now. Stop doing that. My childhood fantasy. When I was like 10 years old, Sally James. I was in love with Sally James. Jace, I've got 3 kits in my stash at the moment, dude. As you said, I have a lot to answer for. Yeah. Would a gloss white base give a very light silvery result? I don't know, actually. Trying a metallic powder over a gloss white will probably give a slightly silvery, a very light silvery look. I painted I did C1 Metallizer over the duraluminum, which is quite a bright light colour, and that gave me 2 different shades, a dark shade, because one was over just gloss black and it was kind of dark and shiny, and one was over duraluminum and it was light and shiny. So what I'd say is get yourself some plastic spoons, because everybody needs plastic spoons, and just do different primer and base coat colours and see what happens over mattes and glosses and different colours. And if you're using a powder or a paint, whatever, just try it over that and see what happens. Because then you've got a little catalogue then. If you keep those spoons, you'll be able to say, right, I know if I do gloss black primer and then this, it'll look like this. If I do a black primer and then red, and you've got a little library then of colour cards. Dave Rise the Rum Gun Barker says, "Core Sally James in a wet Tiswas shirt." Stop! I've got to do some work today. I'm gonna get nothing done. Now I'm thinking about Sally James and stop. How do you top coat in the winter? Can I use space heaters in my garage? Would that be cheap enough to stop it from frosting? Says Cody. Well, if I'm using a rattle can of Humbrol 49, then I obviously wait till it's not raining and not damp. You can go outside and rattle can top coat on a cold day. Not like super cold, but like a cold, you know, miserably cold day. What you can do is you can put the rattle can in a bowl or a bucket of warm or hot water, and that will warm up the stuff in the can. And then when you come to spray it, because it's warm, it will atomize nicely and it will spray. If you do it just straight outside and you go outside and spray it and the can's cold, it might come out in blobs because it's not atomizing it properly. What I tend to do is if I have to do it outside, because I don't like, I try doing airbrush matte varnishes, I can't do it. It always comes out looking like pap. So there's 2 things I'll do. I'll either risk it for a biscuit. If it's not raining and it's not wet and it's not damp, I'll go outside, warm the can up. I'll go outside, get the piece, spray it, and then take it straight back inside so it can dry. Just not leave it outside. But the thing is, if you're making a model and it's going to be matte, say you build this model and you've painted it and you're going to weather it and you've got it all weathered and you've used, say, enamel paint weathering or oil paint weathering for streaks and things like that, you'll actually find using enamels and oils for your weathering will actually matte the surface down anyway. So you don't actually have to matte varnish your model. If you're never going to handle it, like when I finish this and it's on a stand, I don't need to handle the model, I can just handle the stand. So if it's never going to be handled, you don't actually have to matte varnish your model. The only reason to matte varnish the model is if it's likely to be handled at some point. If it's got things on there that you absolutely need to fix in place, like, for example, you've done some weathering pastels or something like that, and you want to make sure they're locked in, Or you're going to be something that's going to be taken to shows a lot, so you're going to be moving it around and putting it in a box, and you need to make sure it's protected. If it's just going to go on your shelf in your cabinet and that's it for the next 20 years, you don't actually have to varnish it. As long as you're not going to handle it, you should be fine. And if you do handle it occasionally, then just be very careful, or if you have to, just wear some gloves and move it around. But sometimes just enamel and oil paint weathering can actually matte the surface. And if you've ever watched Mick Jimenez do some of his like tutorial videos where he's teaching people how to do it, he even says to people, don't matte varnish your model. You don't need to. It's pointless. So if it's winter time and it looks matte anyway once you weathered it, leave it. Or leave it till the spring or the summer when it's drier and you can go outside. I have tried airbrush matte varnishes. I've tried this stuff. I've tried the Ammo matte varnish. I've got a bottle somewhere of the Vallejo matte varnish. No, the AK matte varnish. And I can't get them to work. I just can't get them to work. They either come out like frosty dots because it's too thick, even though I've thinned it, or they come out satin or shiny. I can't get airbrush matte varnish to work. So, right, where are we? Smooth says, is Fox's mum watching? I doubt it. She's downstairs playing Bejeweled on the Xbox. My mum's got more gadgets than I have. I've got an Xbox One X and an iPad and my computer, and she's got an Xbox One, an Xbox 360, a PlayStation 2, 3DS. She's got a Game Gear somewhere. She's got her iPad Air. She's got her iPhone. She's got more tech than me. Wow, my mum's top. Yeah, Dave Wiserum Gombarker says, Blimey, I forgot the most important thing. Hello, Fox's mum. Hey, mum, if you're watching, give me a shout upstairs and I'll say hello back to Dave. If you're not, you won't. Smooth says, my brother has tons of Warhammer non-40k stuff, including the metal figures. That's just the regular Warhammer stuff. Fantasy doesn't float my boat. Fantasy doesn't do anything for me. But the 40k stuff, which is like the Warhammer stuff, is like all elves and swords and but the proper, industrial spaceships and dudes and power armor, that works for me. J-Mad says, I've got my Pat Labor kit that's currently on the go, a Zaku 2, a 1000 Yamato, and the Atlantic version U-boat. Cool. So all of those things need to be done. It's just knowing which one. The good thing is if you've got a few on the go, you can change between them. Don't forget, everybody, by the way, if you want to, it's blatant shilling time. There is super chat in the chat, so if you want a comment to stand out in a blue box, do feel free. I think it's a couple of quid or whatever you want to pay. There's a little $sign. You can see it down here on the screen. A little $sign under the chat. Do feel free. You don't have to. It's totally optional. I just have to mention it. Yes, and to go back to the question, yes, if you've got a garage and you're spraying in there and you've got a space heater, yeah, you can bang the heater on for half an hour beforehand. Or a space heater of some sort, just to warm the garage up. That will dry out the air a bit. Put your can in a warm water anyway, just to get the stuff in the can nice and sort of mixed. Warm the garage up and just go and spray. You should be absolutely fine. I've actually sprayed in the depths of winter below zero. The only time I've ever had a problem spraying a matte varnish was I went outside one day and I needed to get it done, so I sprayed a black base with Humbrol 49 matte. Sprayed it all over, took it back in, and when it dried matte, but covered in little white dots. Because it was damp, so there was humidity, there was water in it, and that caused it to speckle. However, it kind of looked like a starfield, so I left it. It was like, brilliant, there you go, happy accident. Let's have a look. Where are we? Sally James is way before my time, says J Mad, but I do see the appeal. You'll have good taste. Oh yeah. Right. And what's happening in there? I haven't done anything yet. Smooth says I need to try AK Ultra Matte. I will definitely. What's the one I've got? I've got it here somewhere. I have it somewhere. I don't know where, but I do have it. I have a AK. It's not the Ultra Matte. I've got a really itchy nose. Not the Ultra Matte. I did, but it kind of just went on lumpy, and I tried it on the Eagle. It went on lumpy and then wasn't that matte. So then I took the Eagle outside and blasted it with the Rattle Can 49. It was nice and matte then. J-Man says, try the Citadel Rattle Can Varnish for Satin Dude. Is that the Purity Seal? Damn good stuff. I swore by that for years. Yeah, they've got this stuff called Purity Seal, which comes in a big can. It's like their primer cans. It comes in a can this big, which is fantastic because your Humbrol stuff's that big. And I was tempted to give that a go. I've got a really runny nose. I do apologise. I was tempted to give that a go, but I did the mistake of reading the internet, and people were saying it was having some issues with it, and I'm always a bit leery because the last thing I want to do is spray varnish on a model and ruin it. So I will do it at some point. It's probably about £7 or £8 though, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm so sniffly. Somebody mentioned Vectrex. Rusted Beetle says, I only have one console, a Vectrex. My friend Martin has a Vectrex. Vectrex are awesome. I'm old enough to remember when Vectrex was new. Hey Vincent, Mr. Lowe's model making is in. He says, fantasy is also very much dead. Age of Sigmar is where it's at for that. Yeah. It just doesn't do anything for me, all the elves and orcs and swords and... even though I love Skyrim, all that kind of like fantasy stuff just does nothing for me. I can't stand like Lord of the Rings. People hate because I don't like Lord of the Rings. I'm like, yeah, it's boring. Fox, are you going to do the 1/500th Yamato, says M Plaza. Yes, I will do at some point. But I was saying at the start, if I get the itch to build something, I can't ignore that itch. And I got the Yamato, but so far, I've learned to develop a stash of kits and then wait for the moment when my brain goes, I need to build that. I need to build this thing now. Because I could do it without that, but I get bored so easily. If I start a build without the itch to build it, I'll probably get bored of it. So I'm waiting for that little thing in the back of my brain to go, you need to start the Yamato now. And then I'll be like, yes, yes, and I'll dive onto it. And I know when I get the itch, because I'll go to bed at night and I'll be like, in my brain, trying to get to sleep, I'll be thinking, you know, if I build that kit and I could paint it like this and I could do this thing here, and then that's how I know I've got the itch then. That's what I've had with this, that's why I need to get this done. So I will, but I don't know. Used to be mate, says Jay, the Purity Seal is now called Munitorum Varnish. I do love their names. They dropped Purity Seal now, the new one is supposed to be the Dog's B. Okay, I'll check it out. Fox, a lot of the fantasy lovers just play the Warhammer Total War games, to be honest, they are very good. Orcs, elves, swords, rats, but no scantily clad McWoman's heresy, says J Mad. Yeah. I don't know, it's just... fantasy holds no interest. If a dude's not wearing power armour, you know, I mean, how can you not like Space Marines? Anyway, I've done no work. I've done no work. I knew I'd do no work. So, yeah, we've got 3 sprues. We basically have fiddly bits. These are all the parts for the pilot. Legs built into the cockpit. And then all the bits. As you can see, the actual parts for the ship. Left side, right side, or one side, the other side. Wing, wing. Engine sides. Top bit. That's it. That's the inside. There's like minimal parts. Now, the thing I am not sure about is if it's actually a thing on the Vista part. There's this bit here, which is the engine or the big gun in the middle, I think it is. It's this bit here that goes down the middle. Now you can cover it up if you want the Storm Wolf, or you leave it open if you want the Storm Fang. Now the thing is, the Storm Wolf has the big gun on the back, which is awesome, but the Storm Fang has the engine, the gun exposed. The thing that's given me pause here is there are massive runes built into, sort of carved into this, and you've got these pipes. They're supposed to glow. So there's a method to paint these that involves using almost like glazes to get this kind of glowing effect. It's almost like object source lighting. I've never tried it before, so I'm going to give it a go to have these like glowing runes. If it doesn't work, I'll just stick the hood over the top and then it'll be a Storm Wolf. There you go. That's my excuse. So I'm going to give that a try when I do get around to painting it. Hey, Chris. Chris is in. Weird squared off Games Workshop sprues. I really dislike that part of any Warhammer. Yeah, they are weird. But you kind of forgive them because the sculpt is so nice and the moulding is so nice. I've never had any flash on a Warhammer kit. I've only built a few, but never seen any flash on them yet. And the detail's phenomenal. Right, so shall I actually get some work done? Chris says, I'm working now, just a lull in customers been manic today. Everyone wants their clocks and watches sorted. Oh, you got the cockpit there. As you can see, I've put the decals in the cockpit in a bag, so I don't want to get the cockpit scratched up. Quite a nice cockpit, all the frame on it's quite pronounced. I watched a build today, some guy built this and he did a really good paint job on the whole thing, and then he just stuck the cockpit on and didn't bother painting the frame, and I'm like, what? What? Now, if you watch Duncan on Warhammer TV paint the frame, he does it freehand, and I've seen some other people do it. And I'm like, I might need to not do that and just mask it off. I don't know yet. I don't know. So, let's put that to one side. I really should have got some sustenance, shouldn't I? Oh, I've got an itch. Right, what are we doing in chat? Dave says, now everybody has an image of Sally James in skimpy armour. Yeah. That big cylinder in the centre, Das ist ein Turbine gefahren, says J-Mad. I thought it was a weapon because it's the big cannon on the front. I think it's a weapon. I don't think it's the turbine. Let's find out. Let's see if they've actually got any words in the book of doing. Hellfrost Destructor Assembly. There you go. It's a Hellfrost Destructor. Big ass gun. But the thing is, I say, it's got a gun on the top there. This one doesn't, and that looks cool, and that looks less cool. I don't know. I could even maybe get kind of daring when I make this, magnetize some stuff so that you can take this bit on and off, and you can have the gun or that bit, and you can. I've got loads of little magnets. When I made my Hobby Zone stuff, hello, pick up all the things, why don't you? I've got a load of magnets from my Hobby Zone, so, and every time I pick those magnets up, like half my shelf comes with it. Where it's come from. What are we doing? What did I miss, says Raging. Hey, Raging Bassist. Nothing. I actually meant to start working, and we've just been talking for however long this has been going. Just been hanging out and chatting. As usual, I've got bugger all done. Yes, John Byer says, Fox, open the box. That's as far as I've got. So just a lot of waffle then. Yes, pretty much. I stand corrected, said Jay. Many apologies, but you can never have too many guns. Right. Right, should we actually do some work? I've got the flyer base. The one thing I don't get about this is the flyer base for it. And you get the clear part and you get the stand. And you're just supposed to super glue that on. That's not going to end well. You're just going to get frosting from the super glue. So I'm going to have to maybe build a little diorama on the base to hold that in place. I have actually got, very kindly, my local Warhammer store manager gave me that. Because it was just something I had lying around in the back. I needed it for painting. So I said, do you sell these bases? And he's like, no, but you can have this old one. So when I'm painting it, I'm going to use this old base so I can get it covered in paint and nonsense. I'll put this back in the box though. I'm going to put that in the bag actually because put in a bag. I don't want to get it scratched and scraped. Keep your clear parts in a bag. It's always a good idea. Oh, so sniffly. I do not know why. Every time I start filming or doing a live stream, I get the sniffles. Fox needs to start a segment called the No Waffle Zone. That'll be basically somebody else's channel, I think you'll find. So, yeah. Use some Tommy Walsh, Fox. Tommy Walsh. Right. So, we're going to do some work. I know, get me doing work. Got my nippers ready. So I need 41 and 42. Now what I'm going to do with this, I think I've decided, you're supposed to, I think the tradition is to paint the cockpit like Red Belcher, like a metallic colour. I actually want to paint it proper cockpit green. Because why wouldn't a cockpit be cockpit green? I might do that. I might do actual green painting colours. Not official colours. There it is. This is the floor of the cockpit, which rather coolly has the legs for the Space Marine, or the Space Wolf. Moulded into them, it's kind of cool. I'm also very conscious that I don't want to assemble parts that mean painting them is going to be a chore. It always amazes me when you see someone build a Warhammer kit. I'm going to put these somewhere now. You see someone build a Warhammer kit, and they can like build the entire thing, and then they can paint it. And it's like, how do you get the brush into all those little tiny holes and corners? I don't know how you do it. I need my space helmet of seeing that. I don't know how they do it. What's chat doing? There'll be a conflict of interest between Fox and Stroop Waffles, dude. Lol. Yeah, it's only happened he can waffle about not waffling. Note, I don't mind the waffle, says Raging Basis. Some kind of schmutz on the screen there. First cut, the deepest, because Space Marines. Well, if you're not going official colours, what's stopping having both colours? I'm going official colours for most of it. It's just I might do the cockpit green. I'm going to do the traditional rust grey and what have I got? Rust grey and Fenrisian grey and the Fang. I'm going to use all the right colours on the outside because I want to sell it. Right, so nubs wise, these aren't going to be seen. I'll get them off anyway. Me doing work now. Working, cutting all the nubs away. Now these aren't really going to be seen, so I don't have to worry about cleaning these up too much. Let me know if I'm off camera, out of shot and what have you, because I don't necessarily know. That's on a different screen. Where's me glue? How's that going to go together? That's going to go together like that. Okay. They do fit together wonderfully. It's just a joy, like, done. There's no little tabs or anything, but it's just like, kaplink, there you go, done. So I can see I'm going to get rid of those nubs. And looking at the instructions, you're not going to see down here. Maybe you are a little bit. Maybe. Alright, I'll get rid of those. Knife's coming out. There you go. Expect explosions and blood and death. Tony Black says, who are the bad guys in 40k? Everyone's a bad guy. In fact, Raging Bassist says that. Because even the Space Marines, they're supposed to be like, everybody sees them as the good guys, but they're horrendous, like, xenophobic, well, not isolationist, but xenophobic, Nazi, hate-filled, religious nonsense. They just think everybody's inferior to humanity and want to wipe everybody out. So, even the good guys are the bad guys. I kind of feel sorry for the orcs, because they're just the orcs, and then here come all these Space Marines stomping on them, and now they're forced to fight back. So, there you go. Yeah, nobody's a good guy. It's the grim, dark future of the 41st century. It's actually, I tried reading up on the actual story and the background. It's really convoluted. It's so complex. All the different factions and the different things going on, and the Emperor who's actually dead but not dead, and it's fascinating stuff. Now, if you're wondering why I've got newspaper down, it's because I don't want to have to go through the hassle of cleaning my workbench up once I've got all the sanding done. I'm lazy like that, what can I say? I'll get rid of these just in case it's a fit issue. Let me know if my head's in the shot. Am I just seeing my head? I don't think you are. I went into my local Warhammer store today, and there's an ongoing joke every time I walk in that I keep saying I'm going to get the Imperial Knight. I walked in, we're talking for a bit, and as I'm walking out, there's a little poster on the window with a picture of an Imperial Knight, and I said, oh dude, you put that there deliberately just to tempt me, didn't you? And he's like, well, it is a really nice kit. I mean, it's like one of your gunplayers. I'm like, you're doing it again. You're selling me, trying to sell me on the Imperial Knight again. He's like, yeah. Bless him, he tries. I do love the manager of my local Warhammer. He's a top dude. I think his name's John. He's a top bloke. I've learnt many things about Warhammer that I can't repeat to you guys. Many inside baseball secrets. And I can't actually repeat to you guys ever. It's fascinating to know them. There's a tease for you. But it really is like you walk in the store and it's like there's two sides to the store. There's like you walk in the door and on the left hand side is all the Warhammer 40k stuff. On the right hand side of the store is all just the Warhammer Age of Sigmar stuff. And of course I have no interest in the Age of Sigmar stuff, so it's like I can quite happily walk down that side of the store, but if I walk down the other side of the store, it's just bad news. I'm just going to end up spending money. So even John's noticed that when I walk in the store, I never go on that side of the store. I always stay away from it because it's the expensive side of the shop. Space Marines are the space fascists, says Raging Bassist. Dave Wiserum says, I never had 40k stuff, I had an Undead Army and Space Hulk. Space Hulk was one of the... Wow, I think that was like one of the original games that came out. If you've still got it, that can be worth a fortune now. Space Marines have rivalries and blood feuds, most notably the Space Wolves and the Dark Angels. Human Empire religious zealots hellbent on killing everything not human. Slavery is legal. There's conflict between chapters, and their religious nuttery probably made chaos happen in the first place. There are orc clans where they don't get on. Orcs in 40k hate everyone. Same difference as Raging Bassist. Tony Black says, when I used to go into Games Workshop 20 years ago, all the male staff had ponytails. I used to joke that it was a job requirement. It was then. When I used to go into many years ago, the Games Workshop store that was in my local town, before the one that's there now, it was all kind of like your cliche, somebody that lives in the cellar and never comes out, that kind of big bloke with the ranky head. Yeah, it was like that. It's not now. They're all awesome dudes in there. Awesome people in my local Warhammer store. So, yeah, gluing these things together, absolute doddle. They just slot in like that. There's no tabs, but they do fit in place. Now, I can quite happily glue these two bits together and yet maintain paintability when it comes to painting. On. A little bit down the side. Zoop. Now, the thing I have noticed about this plastic that you have to be wary of, and Smoo, you'll need to know this when you build yours. It does work with Tamiya extra thin. It's beautiful plastic, but it has a tendency to splooge. Like, you know when you squish two pieces together and you get the splooge coming out, the melted plastic. This stuff seems to do that in overdrive. So if you go a bit crazy with the glue and squish it together, it'll go and you'll have just gunk everywhere. So go easy on the glue. Get a little bit on, put the pieces together and then run it in the gaps, but don't do a lot of pressing and squishing. It means it's really great for seam filling. No effort, because so much comes out. But it does mean you can easily make a mess. So just go easy with the glue and you'll be fine. Put that on. Okay, so we have a cockpit. We've got loads of lovely detail on there. Again, that you guys can't see because the camera's a mile away. Loads of lovely detail. Oh, I can zoom in. Hang on, I can zoom in, can't I? Hang on. I've got a zoom option on my camera. I think I've got... No, I can't. I can't. I've got Windows 10 on this computer. Until I got the new computer, I was Windows 7. And I could pop up a little dialog box that gave me all the options for the camera. Thanks to Logitech, now when it's Windows 10, that doesn't work anymore. So the only way I can change the camera settings is through OBS. Some other software, so... Right, so that is that bit done. Cockpit assembled. That means I can still get to all that, so that'll be fine for painting. I can still get to the Space Wolves legs and things. Put that to one side. Next one is the dude. Right, what are we doing? Fox's hippogriffs confirmed. Hates hippogriff. I don't even know what hippogriff is. Is the rule still where they have to roll to see if they can still play nice? I don't know. I still have the Space Hulk PS1 game. My brother's got Space Hulk, says Smoo. If it's the board game thing, then yeah, it's. I think they brought it back for a while, but if it's original, it could be quite valuable now. Orc Boy says, can you not tell your patrons, Fox? Can I tell them what? I tell them what, Orc Boys? Dave says, bringing back 25 years ago, bringing back memories. I used to teach the kids how to paint on Thursday evenings. Yeah. Fox, you need to read up about the Horus Heresy if you want to check out 40K's backstory. That basically sets everything in motion. I did actually, I was saying earlier on, I did actually start reading up about the whole backstory, and it's so intense. There's so much going on, I kind of forgot half of it. Vincent says, with their stuff, you just need to glue in the locator holes and the splooge will be enough already. Okay, everyone sit closer, says Tony. Rise on. Simple trick with washes and dry brush highlighting their videos in the Games Workshop channel. Rise on, what's that a response to? It's a simple trick using washes and dry brush highlighting. I'm more than familiar with Duncan's stuff on Warhammer TV. I'll be doing a lot of that on this, because I do like the end result. But I'll also do my own stuff as well, I think. Maybe using some oils and enamels. I really wish Citadel would do some oil or enamel products. I want 44 and 45. If it was a Space Marine. Oh. Can I actually zoom the camera in? Hang on, let me see if I can. Let me have a look and see. I might be able to. Oh, hang on, yes I can. Ooh, this might work. Let's have a go. Watch it be in the wrong place now, though. Whoa! Quality disruption. Right, if I'm working here, if I zoom in a little bit, I can't go too far because the quality becomes absolute pap. Here we go, look at that. Wow. Yeah, you're all dizzy now, aren't you? if I can move in a bit. I don't want to physically move the camera because shall I just physically move the camera? Zoom in a little bit. Okay, quality may not be fantastic, but at least you're seeing some shizzle. Now I'll need you to let me know if I go out of shot because I really won't know. John Bayer says, I hear that 40k movie from a few years ago is quite engaging. No, it's just a dumpster fire. It's the worst thing ever. Just, what was it, Ultramarines? It's just the worst thing you'll ever watch with your eyes. Just don't even... I'd rather watch a children's Disney film than that. Again, I never actually got to the end of it. I gave up. Nothing actually happened. Well, two reasons. One, nothing actually happened after about 45 minutes. The only thing I liked about that film was the way they did the land speeders. Was quite cool. That was quite cool. I need a little glass. I need something to put the pieces in. Yeah, that'll do. The land speeder looked quite good, but everything else was utter gash. Terrible, terrible film. Dawn of War games are some of my all-time favourite RTS games, and yeah, there are hundreds of books of lore. I recommend the Horus Heresy series, also known as 30k. What am I doing now? I need 46, 47, and 43. You might not see this, but the back of his head kind of just reminds me of a Cyberman. I don't know why. An old school Cyberman. Don't know why. 43, which is the bonce. Quite carefully, because little tiny details. 43, we need 2 arms. You need hands. 46 and 47. It's so long since I've actually made a kit where everything's just randomly numbered. Now, I don't know where the sprue ends and the part actually begins here, so I'm going to take a punt and guess it's there. Hope I'm right. 46. Now I also need number 47, which is there. All over the place. I'm also trying to figure out how to hold this so it doesn't ping off across the carpet. 46 and 47. And 43 is the head, and then I need 49 and 48 for the pauldrons. Pauldrons. I mean, you won't see it on this close-up shot, but well, it might do. The detail on the faction mark in there, oh, lovely. I appreciate the quality's a bit pants. That's because I'm zoomed in. So I'll have to live with that a little bit. Or actually, give me a minute. I'll move the camera. Do it that way. Oh, ping. For some reason at the moment, all that's going around in my head, because I played a little bit of Fallout New Vegas, all that's going around in my head is, I got spurs, they jingle, jangle, jingle. I hate that song. I hate old music in New Vegas. I really don't like New Vegas. Have seen the new 40k army yet, Fox says Scott Sutherland. The Primaris Marines, the Prime Army, the Primarch Marines. The new set that replaced Dark Vengeance. I've not seen it physically, but I know of it. It looks pretty good. I'm going to change the camera because I'm going to see if I can just move the camera closer. Hang on. I got spurs. Stop it. I pressed the wrong button there. Well, right. Let's see how this works. I'm terrified I'm going to press the button and kill the stream at some point. So, if we move the camera in a bit, where am I going to be working? Let's work here. Okay, is that good? Is that all in focus? Is that all focused and awesome? Let me know if it's out of focus. How's it look? Yes, you can see the thing. It's a bit out of focus. Let me change the focus. Technical nonsense that you guys don't normally get to see. There's no quick way for me to do this without going to like 15 different menus. There we go. There we go. Right, so what are we doing in chat? Custards. I like New Vegas Sesame. I started playing it and I actually enjoyed the gameplay. It's just, I kind of did the first few quests and then I kind of got bored. I've played it twice now and I keep getting to the same point and not persevering with it because I think I actually finished it once. It's just, like Fallout 3, if you just want to wander around the wasteland and do stuff, you can. Fallout New Vegas, there's not. And I got, you know, I made a point to get the Rat Slayer rifle and what else did I get? I got the... Oh, I can't remember what they're called now. Some of the best weapons anyway. They're very good, it's just every 5 minutes I'm getting attacked by a Legion Assassin because I killed them straight out. The new 40k faction was unveiled today. Oh, is that the Hell something or other? The evil Chaos dudes with the big fat thing with all the guts hanging out. That looks fantastic. It reminds me of an ex-girlfriend. What else are you guys doing? Chris says, I have returned. Has he actually started? Yeah, look, I built a thing. Look. There you go. Shut up. Right, where's me scene line remover? Right, so now we have dude construction to occur. See how well I can ping these pieces off across the entire universe. Find a piece of white paper so I can actually do it on that. So you're not looking at newsprint. Let me know if this camera angle works for you and stuff. Running my chair over wires at the moment. It's brilliant. Right, where's the knife of knives? These are where the arms go, so I can just get rid of those. I need to keep them nice and neat because you're not going to see it. Just needs to be flat and smooth as a baby's bottom. Yeah, is that on camera for? Yeah. I appreciate I'm actually a long way away from the camera, but I can't really get too close because then I don't know why I can't get too close. I didn't think that sentence out. Sorry. Nice and smooth. There you go. That's lovely. Little bit of a tickle with a sanding stick. There you go. There's one. So this is just where the arm glues on, so it doesn't actually matter because it's flat. Put it there. The other reason I want to put this piece of white paper down is so I can see that part. Because if I do it on newspaper, I'll lose it, and then I'll spend 10 minutes swearing. I love the Fallout games, still have a desktop just for them, says Phil East. I love Fallout 3. I actually really enjoy Fallout 4. A lot of people slagged it off. I liked it. When you get loads of mods in to improve the graphics and everything else and get some like lush life in the land. If you weren't that keen on Fallout 4, here's my advice. And you can get mods. So you're on PC or Xbox One. You can get mods on PS4, but they're not. Currently on PS4, you can't get mods where it requires new assets to be made. You might go to it on PS4, but go to wherever you get your mods from, either the Nexus, whatever it's called, or on Xbox One, it's just in the game. Get yourself the M1 Garand rifle. And get yourself a mod called the Mauser Family Pack. And then get yourself there's a mod for the Mosin Nagant Russian rifle. I play the game now exclusive with those three weapons. What am I doing? The Garand is great. It's a brilliant weapon. I just love it. It changes the way you play the game because all the weapons that come with the game, they just pray and spray. You just walk around and shoot everybody. With the Garand, you only get 8 rounds in the clip, and you have to kind of aim properly because you've got to get your shot just right. Not easy. Oh, there's no tabs on these body parts. Wow, that's gonna be fun. There's no tabs on these two halves of the body. I've just got to get it right. Wow. Awkward. Okay. You're gonna make me do some thinking now, aren't you, Games Workshop? Damn you, sir. Touch of glue there just to start it off. Yeah, so if you get those 3 weapons, the The Garand is just a fantastic weapon that you have to take your time aiming with. You can't just spam it like all... Because all the weapons in the game are fine, but they're just like non-thinking weapons. You have to aim carefully and take your time. This is not going well. More glue. Mehr Munition here. Wow, this is fiddly. The Kar-98, no, the Mauser rifles. They suck for iron sights because the iron sights are terrible. So again, you've got to aim really carefully. Or you could use it as a medium-range scoped rifle. It's great. It's got 10 rounds in the... no, 5 rounds in its bolt action. For that one, it's great for outdoors stuff. The Garand's good for indoors. The other one's great for outdoors. But you've only got 5 rounds in the chamber. And it's a really slow reload. So again, it makes you think tactically about what you're doing. And then the Mosin Nagant, that's crazy because you can put a sniper scope on that and you can get the damage up to like 3,000. So it's just to kill everything. Insta-kill weapon. It's great fun. I hardly use it, but it is great fun. Get the very least, just get those 3 weapons and you will suddenly find that Fallout 4 is immensely good fun to play. Okay, so that's the 2 body halves together. Bit fiddly. You can't really see it on screen, but yeah, a bit fiddly that because there's no pegs. It's just 2 halves. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. What are your chats doing? I broke my Fallout 4, modded it so much I can't enter Nuka World or Far Harbor, says Dave Weiser on Gumbarker. Yeah, I guess you're on PC. On Xbox One X or Xbox One, you've only got 2 gig, so you can only have so many mods. But it's fine. I've got like, you know, I've got the True Storms mod, which is brilliant, and I've got Greener Wasteland, and I've got my weapons. I've not really used any cheat mod. Well, I have used one cheat mod. It's not a cheat mod. Dr. Mobius's cellar, and it's basically all the things in the game, every item you ever need, and you can produce them an infinite number of times. So I can produce like, you know, a million bobbleheads. So I did cheat a bit, and I've got like 30 of every bobblehead, which bizarrely doesn't help that much because it only takes you up to 11 on the skills. So yeah, on your stats, on your special skills. But I don't actually use it to cheat. The only thing I did use to cheat was that I gave myself like 4,308 rounds. Because I just enjoy wandering around the wasteland and killing things. I've done all the quests now. I've actually got every single quest done for the main campaign and Far Harbor. I didn't get Nuka World, it didn't interest me. The other ones are just pointless DLCs. And there's only one quest I can't complete, and that's one of Preston Garvey's ones called Greenskins. You've got to kill some super mutants and then report back to the bloke at the farm, but he doesn't. The dialogue for him doesn't trigger, so I can't complete that quest, and that's really annoying. Am I doing the pauldrons then on next? Tony Black says no. Philly, who said it? Philly says he plays the whole game crouched with the. I play the whole game crouched, but the Grand M1. It's a fantastic... What sights do you put on it, though, Phil? I started off with the see-through experimental sight, which is really good because it doesn't really zoom the rifle in, so it's great for indoors. But the crosshairs are so small, it's really hard to know when you're aiming on anything. So now I've switched to just the half-circle iron sights, which is really good, but it does zoom in a little bit, and even on 0 zoom, it zooms in a little bit, so I might go back to the experimental sight. The other one I've got as well, which will change the game completely for you, is, I think it's called Zombie Walkers. It changes all the ghouls into shambling zombies. And you've got loads of settings you can set. How often they spawn, you know, whether they replace NPCs, whether they run or walk. So I've got them set just to walk. They only walk at a shambling pace. And you can only kill a zombie with a headshot. So if you shoot it and blow it up, even if its health is at 0, it won't die until you give it a headshot. And when you're using like the Garand, where you have to aim it carefully, it's great because it can take you ages to kill. And I've got it set so you like groups of 10 of them spawn every now and then. So it can take you. So wandering around the wasteland is great because you get these random troops of zombies that spawn, and you have to take 5 minutes out to kill them all. Great fun. Let's have a look. And one Garand, love that thing of the band of brothers lads made his full auto during the war. Took the secret of how to his grave though. Hey Fox, your stream is keeping me occupied at work. Sat in an ambulance, says RJC Models Official. Thank you for your service, RJC. Glad we're keeping you entertained. Keep up the good work. I mean, I hope you're actually working in an ambulance. You're not at work and you're in an ambulance, because that means something bad's happened to work to you and you've been injured. So I hope that's not the case. I'll just shut up now, because I'm just making it worse, aren't I? Dear, shut up, Fox. Where's his other nub? His other nub's down there. A little bit here I can just sand off. Knife off. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Yeah, the only thing that I don't like about the Garand mod is the sound. To me, it may not be accurate, but the perfect sound for an M1 Garand, or Garand as it should be pronounced, is the sound they used in Medal of Honor Frontline. It's that kind of it was like a double noise. It wasn't just like a bang. It was like a oh no. It was go and watch a video of Medal of Honor Frontline. You watch the beach assault bit, you'll see them firing a Garand. That's the perfect M1 Garand sound for me. Nobody's ever done that since, which is a shame. So the one using Fallout just kind of goes bam, and it's like. If I get a Garand in a game, you guarantee I'm going to use it. It's my favourite weapon in any game, because having an 8-round clip that you can't reload halfway through just makes everything a lot more tactical. Sorry, I mean sat in an ambulance, he says. Being an ambulance without work is a good thing though, isn't it? Hey Fox, hey Anthony. Mike D, hi, love your work. Hi from Ohio, USA. Hello. I hope you're not getting all the snowstorms and horrible weather at the moment in Ohio. Let's have a look. Off subject question, anyone know a good paint to panel line rubber parts? Ah, interesting. That sounds like somebody's making a Pat Labour there. Anthony Lewis says, yeah, that storm is crazy at the moment. It was -4 here yesterday morning. JC says, thank you, I do work on the ambulances. Haha, dream of being at the bench, so many models and venison to make. Venison? Venison. That's exactly what Anthony Lewis said. Videos, he says. No, go back to venison. I think everybody likes venison more than videos. Und now for the head. Gefarten. You can't see it, but that's such an adorb's head. He's got these tubes coming up his mouth. Great. I'm doing all the small fiddly stuff that you guys can't see, so really you're just watching a pair of hands and me listening to me waffle. Welcome to impromptu live streams. I haven't yet needed to go for a wee either. Brilliant. I was going to say something. What was I going to say? I really can't get... I've got spurs, they jingle. I can't get it out of my head. God damn it. I wish I hadn't mentioned it because it's made it worse. Thanks, Obama. Yes, if you watched Chris's live stream last night, you'll have heard this story before. But I saw, for those of you viewing in the Americas, our colonial cousins, I saw a picture yesterday on one of the, I can't remember if it was Earther or Kotaku or something. It was some place in the US where they'd had a bit of flooding. There was a couple of feet of flooding, I guess, because of all the snow. And then overnight, all the water that had flooded the road to a couple of feet froze solid. So basically, the street became like a river, and then the water froze. And you've now got this street in this town, which is basically a frozen river, and all the cars on the street are submerged up to the top of the wheel arches and frozen in place. They're just all frozen. You can't get in them because it's just solid ice. And it was saying that all these cars on the street that were parked up, they're all just write-offs now. They'd just be completely trashed. It's like, there was a guy there who had the car was in the street. Let me find a pen, I'll draw it. Hang on. Momento, per favore. You find a pen. So you got this street, right? Do it the right way. You got this street here, buildings there, and there's a car here, and he's got like, it's like a state car. So he's there, and he's got his windows here. This is windscreen, his bonnet there, and it's literally about that much showing. His trunk's open, like that. And all this is solid ice. It's just wedged. It's just never coming out, ever. Yes, it probably was Jalopnik, Vincent, actually, yeah. It's just, that's never coming out of the ice until the ice melts. It's like, incredible. I felt so sorry for all the people who went to bed at night and got the next morning and found that their cars were just carsicles. You are getting some insane weather over there. Mr. Loth says, Fox, you actually can reload it. Yes, you can actually reload a Garand, but it's not not that easy, and you can jam the weapon up, as you've actually said in your comment. So most people didn't do it. Now, there were stories, we're talking about the M1 Garand as well. There were stories that a lot of veterans used to complain about the Garand, saying it got some of their comrades killed, because as soon as you hear the characteristic ping when it ejects the clip, or the magazine, whichever I think is a clip, the enemy would know that they were reloading, and then they'd attack. However, there was another story where veterans were saying, yes, but it also could work as an advantage, because what they used to do was they used to have their rifle, and when they ejected a clip, they'd keep the clip, the stripper clip. And what they'd do is they'd go quiet for a second, they'd throw the empty stripper clip onto a rock, so it went pting like that. The enemy will pop the head up thinking they're reloading, and they'd take them out. So there's always advantages and disadvantages to all things. Right, now anyway, where's this instructions? So we need to glue on the head and Gefahrten. Is that the top? That's the top. Who's a lovely little boy? So cute. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. His tubes all line up. You have a little bit of glue on his fonts. A little bit of sticking. There we go. He's got some little tubes that come out the side of his face mask, and they line up with the tubes on the torso. I like that. Means you can't turn his head. Cool. Right, so I'm going to leave that to set for a second before I start putting the arms on. Right, so I'm going to take a quick pause. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to sit and let that dry for a second. So I'll have a look at the chat and see what you guys are doing. Let's have a look. I mean, I've done 2 minutes of work and I'm stopping. I'm just going to let that head glue because I don't want that to come off while I'm trying to do the arms. Let's see what you're doing. Venison. Oh, we're still doing that one. MG Hi Zach. Lee Gallup. Hello, Lee. Hello from Indiana. Yes, we're getting snowstorms. I would go back to venison, but it's a bit dear. Unfortunately, I can't think of another comeback from that, so there you go. Auntie Lou says, yes, but Call of Duty Reload is rubbish. I never cared for it much because you can shoot once, then reload. Gotta love carsicles, says Anthony Lewis. Dave says he watched it this morning at 4 AM with his breakfast coffee and roll-up. Ping, and then you die, said Vincent. Didn't the M1 jam a lot? I don't think it did, unless you tried to reload it without emptying the clip first. As Vincent, only when you tried to reload halfway into a clip, when you just emptied it out, you were fine. The M16 now, that was a piece of junk when it was first deployed. That one killed tons of US soldiers in Vietnam because of jamming issues. Might be that one you're thinking of. I mean, what's not to like about the M1 Garand? I think my second favourite weapon after that would be the M1 Carbine, I think. If to play in video games, not real world weapons. Although, I'll tell you what, I would actually love to fire an M1 Garand. In my life, I've only ever fired a shotgun in real life. And that was awesome. So, yeah, I'd love to fire an M1 at Garand just for gits and shiggles. Right, how long have we been going? 1 hour 24 minutes. That's alright, got ages yet. I haven't needed to go for a wee yet. RC says, sorry Fox, bad joke. Huh? I don't get the bad joke. If I didn't see a bad joke, then assume I found it funny or I didn't get it. So you probably did alright, so I wouldn't worry about it. Hello, Mr. Mike. Nice paracord, says Bro Builder. Yeah, that's from Scott in Orkney. He sent me that. Got an emergency rescue whistle on it. Cool. Don't think Scott's with us today, is he? Mike D says, your work belongs in a museum, sir. So talented. Thank you very much. I think there's people out there that do a lot better than I do. Trust me on that one. I'm not the best by any long chalk. But thank you for saying so. Speaking to the manager at my local Warhammer, he was saying apparently it's absolutely fine for me because I'm running out of shelf space for a lot of my builds. He's fine with me taking my builds in, my Warhammer builds in there, and he'll stick them on. He's got a display cabinet in the front window, tons of good stuff. He's a really good painter, builder. Some of his work in there is great. So yeah, you bring your stuff in, we'll stick it in the cabinet, give you a little sticker and stuff. So I'll probably do that. Frankie goes Topwood. Hey Frankie. Hey ho, nice to have some time to watch Fox on a live stream. Hey Scott. Oh, you are there? Yes. I can't remember if you were there or not. I'm still wearing it. See? Oh, I'd get Odo, but he's actually sleeping in a corner at the minute under some boxes. He likes to rummage and disappear under boxes. Oh, I see what you mean about the bit dear joke. No, you're allowed to make bad jokes. That's the whole point. You have to make bad jokes. I'm over 45, so I only make bad jokes. How did we get onto World War II weapons anyway? Yes, if somebody could make a mod so that the M1 in Fallout 4 mod makes the same noise as the M1 in Medal of Honor Frontline, that would be just heaven. Coffee times. Yeah. One other thing, Smoo. Hello, I've just woken Smoo up. One other thing, by the way, when you're doing the denubbing on these Warhammer kits, and if you've not made a Warhammer kit and you're going to be doing one, this is for everybody. You get a Bandai kit, you take the nub off, you file it down, you sand it, you take great care, and you get rid of all the marks. With these things, because it's kind of slightly softer plastic, it's just that easy. Get it off, slice it with a knife, sand it a little bit with a reasonably rough sanding stick. Done. There's no muss, no fuss. Like just getting the nubs off these pauldrons took me all of a few seconds. You saw me do it. It's so forgiving, this plastic. Just so adorably forgiving. 1903 Springfield Sniper or a Lee Enfield Sniper. It would have been the original, though it would have to be a nightmare to get the permits when it's a replica. I must admit, when I played, I think many years ago, Call of Duty 3 when it first came out on the old Xbox 360, the Lee Enfield was quite a nice rifle to use. It was better than the Kar 98 because you could fire it faster and could reload the round into the breech faster. In real life, it was more efficient. Tony Black says he once asked my dad if they had a Bren gun carrier when he was in Burma. His reply was, yes, it was me. Oh, Scott says, I'm watching since it's a very empty house without model making bunny around. I'm so sorry to hear about that, Scott. It was very sad. Model making bunny. Are you going to get another model making bunny? That's the question. I think you should. Smooth says, I was worried about the large sprue gates right enough. Now it's give yourself a big piece of nub when you cut it off, and then you get it off with a knife. It's an absolute joy. They are the easiest nubs to remove. You've just seen how quickly I did all these bits. Just no effort. It's not like Bandai's brittle plastic where it comes off in sharp bits, or you get the whitening where it stresses it. This stuff is just great. It's not ABS, but it feels like you're working with ABS. Oh, also, now forgive me if I can't remember who you are. It might have been John Bias. It might have been you, John. I can't remember. One of my patrons did give me some information about Bandai plastic. Sort of. You know how I always say that Bandai plastic's delicate when you put thinners on it, and it's a really bad idea because it's not baked. Apparently, from his contacts, whoever it was, I think it was John. It might have been somebody else. I don't think it was John. Apologies, whoever it was. Apparently, when you make plastics, polystyrene, you bake them, which makes them more brittle but resistant to thinners. And that's what Bandai doesn't do. So when you get Bandai polystyrene, it's not baked, which means it's more flexible because you're making things with joints that move. So obviously you want the polystyrene to be more flexible and soft. But that's why when you put thinners on it, it crumbles and falls apart. So little background information there. Yes, apparently I was right. It is Bandai don't bake their plastics, and people do bake their plastics. There you go. Too bad you don't play on PC. Foxx Nexus Mods has realistic weapon sounds. I've got a realistic weapons mod for the Xbox version, but the Garand is a weapon from a mod. It's a mod edition, so it's down to whoever made the mod to make the sound for it. It's a nice sound it's got. It's just whenever I hear a Garand that isn't the same sound as the one in Medal of Honor Frontline, I'm always sad. Let's get this guy on the way. Okay, where are we up to? Geeking It with Cody says, you know, when the Mosin Nagant was used in World War II, that was a time when men were men and women were men also. Yeah. Might be having another one in about 6 weeks, says Scott. Yay. I like bunny rabbits. My friend's got a bunny rabbit. It gets bored and then thumps. It's in its little house. I like bunny rabbits. So put your Bandai kits in the oven before building them. I don't think it's literally in a... There's probably some special process, I guess. It's more complex than that, but they are baked. So we've got our little dude here. Shall I see if I can zoom in and it'll go into really crappy 1990s vision quality? Have a look. Let's zoom in and see what he looks like if I can do it and see the thing at the same time. Yep, there's the quality. It's so bad you can't actually see any of that detail. Fantastic. Waste of my time there trying that. He looks like he's got an alien face hugger on his mouth. Tubes. Let's have a look. RJC says, what do they bake it with? A nice pie or something? Yeah, pie. Now, is this an American pie or is this an English pie? Because English pie has meat in it, which is better than American pie, which has fruit in it. Americans like sweet pies. Us Brits, we like our meat. Steak and ale pie. Best thing ever made. Right, now we need to put the arms on now. Now, the problem with these arms is I need to get him on. I need to get the arms on, but then I need to make sure that when he goes into cockpit, that his arms line up with the dashboard. So what I need to do, does it actually have a dashboard part? Because I need to put that in loosely so I can line it all up. I got spurs. I stopped singing it. Stop singing it. You're making it worse. There is a part that... There's a part here. Oh, I see. It's that. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay, so... I understand now. Right, I'm going to take this piece off the sprue. Because... I shall show you for why. Building these Warhammer kits is just the nicest experience. It's like, if Bandai is the most fun you can have with a snap-fit kit, then Warhammer is the most fun you can have with a traditional glue model. It's like if Bandai made a glue kit. I mean, they do like the hard graft stuff, but if it's like, you can imagine it's like a Bandai glue kit. Right, so when I put the cockpit in, thusly, you've got this dashboard device here. And when he goes in there, his arms need to line up with this, so that he's holding the two control sticks. They need to line up. So what I need to do is pull that bit of tape off for no benefit whatsoever. Fantastic. RJC says, I'm from Essex, so English pie. Yeah, good man. Proper pie. Steak and ale pie. Venison pie. My perfect pie would be a steak and ale pie actually filled with lots more tiny steak and ale pies. Oh, tell you what, here's some cooking advice. Never let it be said that I don't do diverse things on my programs, right? Here's some cooking advice for you. Kitchen advice. I do cooking information, everything. If you've got a slow cooker, get yourself some meat products, so mince or chunks of steak or whatever. And do like a slow cook casserole thing where you got all the bits of veggies and onions and you get your beef or whatever meat of choice you've got. But instead of using water for your liquid, get yourself a can and a half or a couple of cans of Guinness. Cook it in the Guinness. Can and a half or 2 cans of Guinness instead of water. We made some over Christmas. Mum made some over Christmas. And oh my god, it was fantastic. For the first couple of hours, your house smells like, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you've been to a party at someone's house and you wake up, you sleep on their floor on the sofa. And you wake up in the morning and all you can smell is all the empty cans and bottles of beer, and it's the worst smell in the world because you're like, oh, I'm going to be sick. It smells like that for about 2 hours, but then it kicks in and then you get the nice ale, cooked ale, beef and ale. Oh, it's just... So yeah, next time you do a slow cook, if you've got a slow cooker, you must do it with Guinness. You have to. It's in the rule book. Do it with Guinness. Right, so I need to get these arms on now. This is where it goes a bit fiddly. There's no little... There's a hole in the arm, but there's no peg here, and I think that's if you want to put a rod in there, so it's quite a nice touch they've done that, but it would have been handy if these had actually pegs and holes, because sometimes you get these guys and they've actually got a square peg and a hole in the arm, so you can't go wrong with them. What to do is get this on here, sort of. He's going, Hurr, I'm manly. I've got his arms on. He's a bit like a TIE fighter pilot. It's kind of cool. And this is why I need to let the head dry for a bit before I glued it in place. And I want to slide him in somehow. Where are my tweezers? Come to me, my tweezers. Slide him in, so he's in. Now he's in. I need to do some justifications, so that his arms are in roughly the right place. Roughly the right place. I hold him in place with my finger, move that arm down a bit, that arm up a bit, and then they'll fall off, so I need to put a little bit of glue on the arms. I'm not gluing the pilot in at this point because I'm not that much of a masochist that I can actually paint him while he's in the cockpit. I'm not Duncan. It needs to come up. So you've got... Beauty of the extra thin is you've got a few moments or a minute or two just to... Oh, the arm comes off. Yeah, I thought it might do. You've got a minute or two. Get everything in place and ready. Move things around. Stay on. Okay, so that's his arms in place. I'll put a bit more glue. And I have to hope and hope and hope that this glue isn't somehow capillary actioning its way all down to his butt and gluing him in place. Because that would be terrible. That would be a bad thing. I have to also hope that I can get him out again. Oh, I can take the cockpit apart. So, that's his arms locked in place. That's yon little fella my lad in yon cockpit and gefarten. I'm going to leave him for a moment. Give him a moment. Just for his arms to set, and then I can take that tape off and take the cockpit back out again. So I did this when I was doing the land speeder as well on the Tau Interceptor. On the Tau one, I think there was a little square hole that the guy had. Where's my pen gone? On the torso, you had your dude. I'm going to do this facing the right way. There's the dude. There's his head. There's his body and his bit where the arm goes. So, you know, whatever. His arm goes here. His torso, but on the arm there's like a little square peg that sticks out like that. I think this was on the Space Marines I did it on. Little square peg, and on the inside of the arm, there's the arm holding a thing. There's like a little square hole, and it just lined up perfectly so the arm was in the right position. On this one, it's just a flat surface, so I found doing these you have to loosely put it together, get him in there, get the arms in the right place, and then just leave it for a minute. Right, what's chat doing? RJC says, steak and ale. Smooze Workshop, he says, yuck, hate Guinness, just so banned. Guinness is the best, says Phillies. Tony Black says, Newcastle Brown works well. I tried that. I have tried it with Coca-Cola. It works quite nicely. We did a gammon. This was a gammon we did in the Guinness. But I've tried gammon with Coca-Cola. It's all right. It's quite nice. We tried it with Dr. Pepper. It was horrible. Don't use Dr. Pepper in your slow cooker. It's the worst thing you'll ever do. Trust me, it's just bad. Scott says you could try it with Skull Splitter. Yeah, that'd be quite nice. Fox, how would one join you on a live stream one time, says RJ. You can't join these because this is a live stream straight through OBS into my live YouTube thing. It's only one person. It'd have to be when we were doing a hangout of some sort. So I might actually do one of them at some point. You know, like when we do the treehouse or we do the e-models thing, it's a hangout. You do it through on the e-models channel. You go to your live dashboard and you can either do a live event, which is what this is. It's just one. It's straight through YouTube, or you do a hangout, which YouTube goes through Google Hangouts, and that's how you get multiple people. So I might have a look. I might do something like that, like a hangout, and we'll get some of the guys from the Boom Hut and stuff to join in. I know we do the Treehouse ones, and that's a lot of people do ask how can they join in a Treehouse podcast. You can't. It's just for Treehouse guys. It's like you can't join those. And some people have actually asked if they can join in on the E-Models podcast, and it's like, no, because it's an E-Models podcast. It's for people that work for E-Models. So yes, but I might do that at some point. Maybe get some of the Treehouse guys like Ted and Tony and that lot, or Chris, who's in tonight, or Adam or somebody, and open it up to Treehouse members. You can only have 9 people in a maximum in a hangout though. So yes, we'd have to try and figure out how to get multiple people in there. But yeah, we'll sort something out. Where's my? There they are. Sort something out. Because there's a few guys in the treehouse that I'd love to do a hangout with. You got Lincoln Wright's top bloke. I'd love to get him on a hangout at some point. Get John Bias in on a live stream at some point if I can, because I like his work. I like your stuff, John. There's loads of you guys in the treehouse that I'd love to actually get in on a live stream at some point. Because you're all dudes. And I have to say, I know I say this every time, but I have to say, you guys from the Boom Hut. I said treehouse, I meant Boom Hut, sorry. Nothing to do with the treehouse. Yes, we'll do a hangout with Boom Hut members at some point. Not a treehouse one, just a Boom Hut hangout. I'll say, right, it's live now. The first 8 people that get in, get in. But yeah, I love everybody in the Boom Hut. You're all awesome people, and I have to say, and I've said it before, I have to thank you all for being such wonderful people. Because I look at other Facebook groups, and I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna mention any other Facebook groups because I'm not that kind of person. But I look at other Facebook groups, and the majority of them are just anger-filled, hate-ridden, monkey shit flinging fights. There's bitching, there's snarking, there's nastiness going on. It's like, oh. So the fact that the guys in the Boom Hut are just awesome. I think in the entire life of the Boom Hut, we've had to maybe do moderation maybe once. It's the wrong side, you fool. Maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times. And also, we've had maybe a tiny, tiny number of actual spam things happen in there. Spam comments and stuff. You guys just never cause us any problem. Why is this not sticking? Why you no stick? Das ist nicht richtig. I'm doing wrong there. Is that the right one on the right side? Yes. Am I being completely special? This doesn't seem to want to fit at all. I don't know which is 48 and 49, but I think it's this way around. Why do you not want to go on? Tell you what, let's get in the heavy guns. Let's bring in the heavy armour. Heavy artillery. Let's go for Tamir Thick. Stodgy glue. So, yes. Boom Hut guys, you are the best. I am so proud of the Boom Hut. Everybody in there is absolutely awesome. We've had no real issues at all, ever. Nobody's ever caused any problems. Never had to get medieval on anyone's ass. These are really not fitting at all. I must be doing something wrong, surely. We've just had no problems at all. So all the Treehouse guys, it's the Treehouse guys that run the Boom Hut. All us Treehouse guys, we just adore you. Because you're the best group that anyone could ask for. You really are. And you all get on so well, and you all have a great time, and you're all nutters like we are. I couldn't ask for a better thing. A better group of people. I really couldn't. Trouble with these pauldrons. Really don't want to go on. Oh. Games Workshop giving me fit issues. Das ist nicht richtig. There we go. Need some thickness of the glue. Nope. Come on now. Come on now. Don't be giving me nonsense. Not after I've been bigging you up for the last 2 hours. Really don't want to stay. Get in there. Get in there. So yes, you can see that by leaving the arms to set for a moment, by doing that little test fit with the cockpit installed, I can make sure that when I do kind of finally put this guy into the cockpit, his arms will be in exactly the right place. Who's a big boy then with his big shoulder pads and his big pauldrons? You are. Who's the best Space Wolf? Who's a good boy? You're a very good boy. Right, so if I touch that again now, it's going to explode. I'm going to leave it for a minute. I'm not going to put him in the cockpit now, because if I put him in the cockpit now, yeah, good luck ever painting that in any good way. So if I leave the cockpit like this, I'm getting glue fumes. Woo-wee! Sweet boy! I can get to all the cockpit parts, I can paint the cushions on the seat, and I can get to his legs. No problem. And if I leave this dude like that, I can get to all of his bits and paint him. I'll probably have to mount him on a little stick or something like that, so I can paint him from underneath. So that's that there. We'll give him a minute. What's chat doing? Are you talking about your Guinness or American Guinness? Because ours is not that good. All American beer is trash. I'll just say that now. All American beer is rubbish. Proper, I was going to say English Guinness, but it's Irish, isn't it? But proper Guinness that you get over here in the UK. And not the old, there's different types. If you get a can of Guinness, there's either Guinness, or there's Guinness, I think it's original. This is kind of fizzy. This is the proper smooth ale. Get the smooth ale if you're cooking it. Official Irish Guinness, says RJ. Yep. Right. So you can't put a square peg in a round hole then, Fox. You can if it's smaller, or one's bigger, or you just jam it. Or twat it with big hammer. Remus says, you guys drinking the weak stuff, I can down a whole bottle of lemonade. Yeah, but are you a oh, that joke's going to fail. Are you a secret? Never mind. I was going to make a joke about that. Are you a secret lemonade drinker? But it's killed it now. Try Iron Brew. Iron Brew, made in Scotland from Garters. Iron Brew's fantastic. Thunder God Odinson says, next time you have a barbecue, marinate some pork or lamb chops in pale ale 24 hours before. Yeah. RJC says, yeah, Boomhut, you lovely guy. Let me link my live stream on the something. Thank you. On the smiley. RJ, yeah, if you're doing a live stream on the, you're more than welcome to put a link in the Boomhut. Don't forget, by the way, for those of you who are in the Boomhut, there aren't many rules to the Boomhut, but if you've got a YouTube channel, you're more than welcome to pimp your stuff in the Boomhut when you post up videos and if you do live streams. We thoroughly encourage that because the whole point of the Boomhut is to get people together, get them doing stuff. And if any of you out there have YouTube channels and you show builds and paintings, then you're teaching people. Then by all means, post up links to your stuff in the Boomhut. Like you see me and the other Treehouse members, we post up when we do a video, or I do this live stream, but you guys can do that as well. The only things we don't allow is selling. You can't buy and sell in the Boomhut at all. We don't allow it in any shape or form. It's not a buying and selling group. And you can't link to stuff that you've got behind a Patreon paywall. With a couple of people have asked, and me and Lincoln have talked about this before, but we've worked out the best way to do it is if you've got a Patreon, if you're a creative and you've got YouTube and you've got your own Patreon channel, you're more than welcome to mention that fact. You don't have to keep it hidden. But the only thing we ask is that you don't link to something that is locked behind the Patreon paywall or whatever, subscription or donation service you use. So you'll see me, I'll post up things and where I do a video that's open to everybody, but it'll mention Patreon. But I won't do a link to an actual Patreon video or post in the Boomhut because I have to follow my own rules. So yes, you can post up. I only use the Boomhut and the Luke's apps now. I left any other groups for that reason. Yeah, there's so many other groups out there that are just dumpster fires. Toxic. I don't like it. Chris the Pyro. Does anyone know in the UK I can get Tamiya Panelite accent colour black? E-models always seems to be out of it. Drop them a line, Chris, because if they're not in stock, it may just be they don't have a big demand for it, so they don't get it in stock very often. But if you say, hey, can you get me some? They'll be able to get you some. Don't worry about it. They'll include it in the next shipment. So they are... E-models are actually the UK's largest stockist of Tamiya. So there you go. You didn't know that, but you didn't know that. They are the UK's largest Tamiya stockist. So, yeah, if you're looking for it, give them a shout. And if they don't have any... Because that kind of thing is something they might not see very often much demand for. So they might not get it all the time. But if they know you want some, they'll be able to get it for you. Do it to sales@emodels.co.uk. Anthony Lewis says, it's really funny seeing some of the conversations in the others, though, as in other groups. Yeah, it's funny and... Yeah, it's funny and tragic sometimes. I keep thinking you're saying smoo ale, Fox. Smoo ale. Hey, Smoo, if Smoo Industries did a beer, how would that work? With its quality tat thing, how would that be like the 72p of Charger Lager type, but rebranded? Joined a Star Wars group a few years ago, says Phil East, and a core for used to ridicule any Bandai as they were kids' kits. Yeah. Because it's a Star Wars group, not a model make. Any model making group will kind of appreciate that Bandai aren't actually really, really good. Here we go. Remus 2002 says, you should make a Boom Hut Discord. Funnily enough, there is a Boom Hut Discord. If you give me a minute, I will link to it. Let me go over to the computer. I'm opening Chrome and I am pressing a button on the loudest keyboard in the world. Right, give me a second. I will link you to it. Dashboard. I need to get the document open. Give me a second. I'll move my hand here so you know stream hasn't died. Smoo says if Smoo Industries made a beer with their quality tat label, it would most likely have vodka and fag ash in it. Yes, all the things you want. Right, where's I think I will tell you what the Discord is. There is actually a Discord. There is actually a sticky post on the top of the Boom Hut. However, I do know that if you're on mobile, you can't always necessarily see sticky posts. So this is a link for the Boom Hut Sofa Discord. There you go. That's a Discord just for... Well, it's actually open to anybody in the universe, but it's the Boom Hut Discord. You're more than welcome to go along. I've got 2 Discords at the moment. There's that one, and there's a Patreon exclusive. There's Patreon only Discord. I'm not going to link to that here. That's just for patrons. Somebody did make this suggestion. As always, I've forgotten who made this suggestion, so my apologies. Somebody did suggest that in the Discord, we set up a few different channels. So you've got like the main one for just general chat. Then you've got another little channel for showing off your builds. Another little channel for, you know, people who do YouTube and stuff like that. So I probably will do that. I need to get 5 minutes to set that up. But the thing with Discord is it's like every other kind of chat and app like that. They never explain how to do anything, so... RJC says, yes, I normally use my name, which is Reese. I know it's you, Reese, don't worry. Or my fab ebook page. Ebook page? Oh, your Facebook page. You've got a typo in your thing from Autocorrect. It says fab ebook page. Wow, you got ebook page? Which is RJC Models. Let's have a look. That answered the question about YouTube. I posted my video of my wiring build. Didn't know if it was breaking any rules or stepping on the... No, not at all. Not at all, Cody. We strongly... If you read through the sort of rules of the house on the right-hand side, or in the About section, it actually says if you've got a YouTube channel, with the Boom Hut, even if you've not got a YouTube channel, the whole point is we want people to show off their stuff anyway, because the main tenets of the Boom Hut are share your work so other people can see what you're doing. And give you feedback, and so you can show it and ask people for help or advice. We want all the members to look after each other and help each other and support each other and whatever they've learned in their travels to pass that information on. And the best way to do that is by showing what they're doing. So if you've got a YouTube channel, by all means, pimp the living carp out of it. Not a problem. As long as you're not selling anything, It's fine. No buying and selling, and don't link to stuff that's locked behind a paywall like Patreon. Other than that, you know, you're absolutely fine. Right, so that's the pilot done. I'm not going to glue him in, but that's what he'll look like when he's done and dusted. I'm a space marine. It's a space wolf. Right, so what's next? What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get pretty much everything built, but I don't know whether to glue the cockpit in as part of the build and then try and paint it, or paint if I can get the cockpit in. Get in the place. There you go. See, I'm not seeing how I can get in there and do all the lovely bits of detail painting and neat painting while it's in there. So what I might need to do, because what I want to have built is basically everything. So when it comes to being painted, I've basically got everything built except cockpit canopy, which will be off. This roof part here, either one, whichever one I do, which will be off because that goes over the canopy, and the upper half of the pilot, which will be out. So when I've finished painting, all I need to do is glue the top half of the pilot in, stick the canopy on, and put this roof piece on. So what I think I'm going to do is stop doing the actual buildy part there for that bit. I'm not going to glue that in there now. So where do these bits go? I see. So we've got a choice of either guns, so las cannons, or storm strike missiles. I'm thinking las cannons. So I can glue those in because they can go in, but I'm not going to glue the cockpit in. Okay, right. So I'll get those parts right. I need a container to put the pre-built bits in. Let me find a thing. I need to put them somewhere. All my sorting racks are actually full of unicorn parts. Okay, I'll just put them here for now and hope I don't lose anything. What's chat doing? Dave says, oh, but we wanted to sell SMU for medical research. There's nothing that medical could learn about anything from SMU. They might learn some new things, but I don't think it'd help anybody. Let's have a look. Mike says, Therese, that's why a few of us started having hangouts with SMU. Absolutely not clicky, and a great bunch of fellas for model making chat and a good laugh. Work in Progress Labs. Good morning, Fox. How's it? It's very well, thank you. How are you? Anthony Lewis. Taka, taka, taka. Yeah. Rat Pack 30. I don't have much models to show on my YouTube except RC cars and expensive RC trucks and some vlogs. Since I am the crazy Norwegian, I live stream on the Boom Hut Facebook page and on Instagram. Nothing wrong with that. But it's always best to, if you're doing video content, it's always good to set up a YouTube, even if you think you're not doing much. Because Facebook's alright, but it's not kind of permanent records. If you've got a YouTube channel, even if you're just doing a few things, you're not worried about monetization, it doesn't matter. You've just got a permanent place so people can go and see your stuff. And over time, you'll get a library of stuff. So all of us Treehouse members, we always encourage people who are thinking about doing videos, go for it. The worst that can happen is that nobody watches it. Okay, well, you've still built some brilliant models. Reese says, Reese does scared face. Fox knows everything. Yes, I know. I have an all-seeing eye that sees all things, all of them, all. Rimar says, I'm just getting started into Gunpla and I'm finding it very fun. Yep. Gunpla's a great way to get into it because you don't have to worry about the building. You can start with the painting. Remus says, E-models don't have some of the kits I want though. Yeah, they've only just started stocking Gunpla, Remus. And they've only got about that. They ordered about sort of like 25 or 30 specific kits. They're not going to have a massively huge selection because they're not getting supplied directly by Bandai. They're not a distributor. There are no distributors outside Japan apart from Bluefin in the US. In the UK, there are no official Bandai distributors. So they'll be the same as every other sort of Gunpla retailer outside Japan, in the UK, sorry, where they'll have a selection of what's available to them. But if there's a specific kit you're looking for, just email them, sales@emodels.co.uk. Tell them which kit it is. It might take them a little longer than normal to get it, but they probably will be able to get it for you. So just drop them an email. Their Gunpla stock will vary over time, I say, because they're not distributed. They can't just get one of everything. They'll be able to get one of what they can get. So it will vary over time. But drop an email. If they know what you're looking for, they can keep an eye out for it. And Lewis says, Spez Marines! Yes, I love that quote. Spez Marines. Ratpack says, Hobbylink Japan and Banzai have nearly everything you want in Gunpla. Yeah, if you're in the UK, obviously if you're in the UK, it's kind of convenient for e-models because you can get the kit and have it delivered next day delivery, and it doesn't cost you 25 or 30 quid. But obviously, it's best to have a number of sources to get your Gunpla. But if it's something e-models has got, grab it from there. If you're in the UK, next day delivery for a few quid, as opposed to waiting for weeks and weeks from Japan, and if it gets lost in the post, yeah, good luck with that. Auntie Lou says, I say paint it first, then glue. Yes. Well, I'm going to build basically everything. The only thing I'll need to do at the end is like pop the top half of the pilot in, and then the roof bit here, and that's it. So I will get the cockpit painted before I actually insert it, and then get the rest of it built. I'll have to mask off the cockpit, obviously. I'm watching on iPad and on my TV, only a 30-second lag between them both. Woohoo! That means you get me in delayed stereo. Is that like watching in 3D without the glasses on? Medical Smooth sounds like a Dr. Seuss thing. Afternoon, lads, says Balaclava Bob. Whenever I see the name Bob, I'm tempted to go Weeble Bob and say La Bob. I always thought the guy that said slap it on was an actor. I use that phrase a lot when I'm painting. That's Ted. That's Ted. Ted's my oppo from E-Models. Auntie Lewis says, I'm actually working on my Ultramarine army. Need more drop pods and to start my second Predator tank. I saw in the flesh today in the Warhammer shop the Baneblade. And John there, the manager, he'd done a fantastic paint job on it. And it's really big. It's like that big. It's like, wow, that's awesome. It looks big and chunky in the pictures, but when you actually see it in real life, it's quite low, sleek and low slung like an Abrams. It's quite good. Loads of like packs and things and storage things all over it. So yeah, at some point I will get a Baneblade. I was kind of threatening Ted that I'd get him a Baneblade because he likes tanks. Ratpack says, that's true, Fox. Brilliant. I've no idea what that was because I've forgotten what I said 5 minutes ago. Answers, you in the Boom Hut Discord, I can send you a pic. I can't open the Boom Hut Discord right now because having that open as well as the thing OBS and the stream will probably explode my PC. When I'm doing a stream, I don't like having anything else open on the PC because I don't need the computer. If the computer crashes, we're kind of screwed. So I'm not in at the moment. But post a picture in anyway. Everybody else will be in there. Quite fancy that myself, says Smoo. Is that the Baneblade? Is that the Baneblade? It's massive. It's huge. Can't stand Discord, said Smoo. It's just chat. It's just text chat. Chat's fine. Go in there. Say hello. You'll have a great time, Smoo. You can advertise Smoo Industries all you want. You've got my permission. Quality tat. Work in progress. I'm planning a super diorama using the 1/35th scale Gundam. I have, blimey, Riley, really? I have the kits to use for the diorama. I just have to get the small table to build the diorama on. Wow, you got the 1/35. Are you going to use the? Are you going to use some UC Hardgraph kits? Work in progress labs. Are you going to use the UC Hardgraph tanks or the Recon kit because they're great? Remus 2002 says, what do you do for fun apart from models? People in the chat, you should answer this as well. Put your answers in there. I'm gonna take a quick break. So I'm gonna sit here and have a cigarette. As you all know, I'm a filthy smoker, so I'm gonna have a cigarette. And answer that question. What do I do apart from models? At the moment, if I'm not doing model making-y stuff, I just play on the Xbox. But most of the time I'm doing my model stuff because it's kind of fun for me anyway. Going back about 10 years, I used to do an online webcomic because I do drawing as well. So I did have an online webcomic for about 5 years. I haven't really drawn much over the last few years, but sometimes I'll do that for fun. I'll draw stuff. And then going back another sort of 5 or 10 years before that, I used to record music. I used to have a lot of synthesizers and a small recording setup. I used to compose electronica, symphonic electronica. Well, that's long dead, that. I've since sold all the equipment. That's a time ago. Long time since I've done any of that nonsense. Well, all the music I use in my videos, most of the music I use in my videos, is actually mine. I wrote it and recorded it. And I do use some stuff from Incompetech as well, and some other bits and bobs. Oh, Anthony Lewis. I really want to try my hand at a few Tau vehicles. They are so sleek and sexy. Yeah. Also, I was talking to someone else, not you, Fox. Sorry, lol. Okay. JS Idaho, the M61A5 kit is fantastic. That's the 2-barrel tank. Yeah, I need to get that at some point. It's huge. Geek It When Cody says, smoking bad. Yes, it is. It is a bad habit of mine. Vince says, apart from models, I'm a PC gamer and I ride and tinker on my own bike. Fox, are you a MASH fan as the show MASH? Why have I done something that's relevant to MASH? Yes, Idaho. Hello all from North Idaho, USA. What's the chances that your name will tell you you're in Idaho and you're actually in Idaho? Amazing coincidence. Neil Harris, my dogs and gaming, watching TV, keeping out of wifey's way. Yes, that's many people's favourite pastime is keeping out of the way of the significant other. What's the weather like in Idaho then? Yes. Dave, why is the wrong on market? I used to play World of Tanks and Armoured Warfare when not making kits. But she who felt in bed broke her PC. So I'm only modelling now as I don't fancy losing an arm getting off the PC. Yeah. Let the Wookiee win, Dave. Let the Wookiee win. Vincent says he wants the huge tower dropship that comes with tons of vehicles. That's the resin Forge World mod. I actually watched a video of somebody making that. And it seems like there's a lot of stuff you have to do to make it fit together properly. It does look fantastic. It does look incredible. But yeah, wow, that is a big kit. See, I'd love one of the big Forge World, the big walker things. You know, the one's got like the dog's head and it's got it's like a giant Imperial Knight. I forget what they're called. I'd like one of those, but it's just resin, man. I can't do resin. Resin just doesn't work for me. I never have fun making resin kits. Never have fun. What else? People in chat, what else do you do for your funsies? Vincent, Mr. Loth says, yes, the resin part, multi-part one that actually opens up to show the vehicles. Yeah, and you can put all your troops inside it. It is huge. I've seen it. I think it was a video from... I saw a video from Blue Table where they were making one up, obviously for someone. And I have to say, the job they did in it wasn't brilliant. Stefan, last I'm a music collector since the mid-80s, mainly CDs since 87, and now I have much more than 5,000 of them, blimey. Actually sounds crazy now that I write it down. Yeah. Ow, I just stabbed myself with the tweezers. There you go, stabbage. I was fiddling with my tweezers and I stabbed myself. No blood, doesn't count. Ha! I win. Philly says the prices from Forge World are crazy. They are really expensive. However, I suppose you have to kind of keep in mind they're not like massive runs where they're not going to make 10,000 of a kit. They kind of do limited runs of them, I think. And considering the resin, they're actually pretty good. They're actually really good quality. I know some of their fine cast or whatever it was called stuff they did way back in the day was shunned by everybody because it was terrible. But the Forge World stuff is supposed to be very good quality. Anthony Lewis says, besides Fox, because we know what he's working on, what's everybody working on at the moment? What you're building at the moment? Mr. Paris says, I'm hoping to get a Master Grade Zaku sometime. Not Warhammer related, but I want to contribute something to the conversation. No, Master Grade Zaku, you can't go wrong with the Zaku. This isn't specifically just talking about Warhammer, by the way. We just happen to be talking about Warhammer doing it. Talk about anything you want. Matt Baker says, it was your building a Revell Viper that got me into modelling again. Cool. Actually, I tell you what. I made the terrible mistake a couple of weeks ago. That was my first video. My first videos on YouTube was building the Revell Viper. It was my first video build, and I was doing it for e-models. I went back and watched it, and it was like, oh god, I've gotten so much better at this stuff since then. Like that first video on YouTube ever, and the third word I say is hey everyone, it's Fox here. Oh dear, terrible. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and so naive. Finecast was white metal, wasn't it? Oh, maybe it wasn't Finecast then. It was the resin stuff they did for a while that nobody liked because it was terrible. Reese says, sorry man, just wondered if you like MASH and old sitcoms. Oh, I love MASH. MASH is great. Sitcoms, yeah, not so much. Old sitcoms. The only old sitcoms and stuff I like are things like MASH, Dad's Army. You can't not like Dad's Army. At least he's finishing off a Tamiya tank diorama, getting nowhere with his perfect grade RX 178. Anthony Lewis has 3 on the go: a real grade red frame, a master grade heavy arms, endless waltz, and a master grade sandrock endless waltz. Yeah. Anthony Lewis has the high res wing 0 kit, nice, but he needs some poly gloves for that. Mike Mountain, Type 21 submarine, then onto an A380 with interior. Shiny planes. Vincent, at the moment I'm building a Tacon Mark 4 male tadpole for a group build on the page. Yep, I've seen pictures of that and your videos going up. And he's got decals and paneling of the Bandai 1500 Yamato. Have you put another video up on that one? Because I might have not noticed it. I made a mistake of subscribing to a couple of channels that put out 300 videos a day. So I've kind of lost the ability to find things in my subscription feed now on YouTube. Kupik's doing a Dragon Momoko Gundam Exia Avalanche Dash. York Boys, Finecast. Oh, no. Finecast was a disaster, a mixture of resin and plastic. I seem to remember there was one, might have been one of the Warhammer TV videos where they were doing something about how to use green stuff, and they were using one of their resin Finecast or whatever it was. And it was like, God, it looks terrible. Really? Video. Mike D, working on a Scooby-Doo chase scene diorama right now. That sounds fantastic. You need to put pictures of that up in the boom hut. I need to see that. No, Fox, those Viper videos were amazing. They got me back into modelling too. You're too hard on yourself. I don't mean the actual work I was doing. I mean, my presenting skills have kind of... I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but my presenting skills have maybe improved a little bit over the last 3 years. Because I was like all nervous. I'd never done it before. I'm like, ah! I had terrible lighting and workspace was terrible. If I remember rightly, when I made those first videos, my camera was my phone as it is now. This isn't my phone, but when I video. And it was like, it was on top of a biscuit tin, wedged in place with some bits of foam held in place with gaffer tape. It was like, yeah. Fox, Rat Pack says, Fox, that's how it was when me and some friends started a YouTube channel where we test stuff and make short movies. Every time I look at the episode, I cringe and gag. Yeah. Just finished my first diorama, won't be the last, says Balaclava Bob. Smooth's working on about 1 million things. A 1/16th Peterbilt truck, which is massive. A 1/12th Yamaha RZ250. A 1/12 Honda CBR100 XX Super Blackbird. Now, Smooth, I tell you, even I know what a Super Blackbird is. Get that? I don't know about bikes, and even I know what a Blackbird is. Trumpeter 135th KV122 plus LAV. A2 and AT. Airfix HMS Victory, to name a few. Oh, which reminds me. If you watched a couple of weeks ago, me and Ted did the E-Models live build stream for about 4 hours where we built a couple of the Toon tanks. I was building the little Russian KV2, and they're supposed to be like caricatures. They're like comical chibi versions. Somebody actually posted a picture up of an actual KV2 in the boom hut in the conversation, and I'll tell you what, the little Toon tank, it's actually more accurate than you think. The big sticky up turret, that's what it looked like. I was like, wow, really? That's awesome. Anyway, shut up, do more work. Vincent, editing videos now, Fox. I've been filming and building constantly rather than stop to edit. Yeah, I know that feeling. Chris Pyro, there. Oh, comments are moving now. There's a character in Gundam called Robert Gillam who runs around in a blue and yellow Zakio. I'm 400% convinced it's a 40k reference. Could be. Balaclava Bob, question: what software do you use to get the video off the phone and onto YouTube? Well, I'm using an iPhone. This is a webcam right now. There's 2 different ways of doing it. that I do it. If it's a live stream like this, I'm using my, what is it? It's a Logitech C920 webcam. This one. With the looking and the moving of the fingers. That's like 3D, isn't it? Right. Put your 3D glasses on now. That's a Logitech C920. It goes straight into my PC. It then goes into software called OBS, which is free to use software. It's absolutely free. And then that sends the stream to YouTube. That's if I'm doing a live stream like this, where it's just me on my own. If it's a hangout, like a group live stream with multiples of us, like me and Ted do the eModels live stream, or I do a hangout, or something like that, I'm on one of Smooth's hangouts, then it's basically the same webcam, and that goes directly into YouTube, and YouTube use Google Hangouts, so if you've got a group. If I'm just recording normal video, like a video build, then I use my iPhone 5. I did actually, I've upgraded to an iPhone 6S, and the camera's not as good. The new software in the 6S doesn't handle white balance very well at all, so everything comes out overexposed. So I've gone back to use my 5 as a camera. The beauty of this is, if I hook that up with the lightning cord into my PC USB slot, I can just open up Windows Explorer and drag the video file straight into Windows. So I don't have to do anything. I don't have to use iTunes, which is hell on earth. I can just drag the file straight from this to the PC. And then for editing, I just use a program called Movavi. I'll put it in chat because... can I put it in chat? I'll have to open a chat window. I'll type it in chat for you. Do let me open up the thing with the pressing and the typing and the looking and the loading and the slow PC. Movavi. Oh, I'll try not to spell it wrong either. That's what I use to edit the videos. And then in Movavi, you just render the video into, I think, MP4. And then you just upload it through YouTube's front end. If you're looking at doing it, you can set up a YouTube channel, and it's kind of fiddly. You can do it, and then you just upload from your computer. So if you're just looking at videos, you need something to film with, so a camera, like a webcam, or your phone. If you've got an iPhone or non-iPhone, I like my iPhone because the beauty of iPhone, and this is something I want to show. Now I've got a separate phone for filming. I want to show this, by the way. When you film with an iPhone, I always say about white balance and focus. It might not come out on camera. I don't know. Let me just see what you can see. Hang on. It might not come out on camera, but when I'm filming and I want to lock on something, instead of having to go and do all funky stuff to lock the autofocus and the white balance, you just do that. Push it down, you get the flashy yellow square, and that's now locked the autofocus and the white balance. If any of you out there are filming and using an iPhone, use that. If I'm filming, right, I'm going to be filming here, a build, I need to lock the focus, because if you watch people's YouTube videos and they move their hands around and the white balance comes and goes and the focus changes, it's really annoying. Lock your focus. If the camera's there and I'm filming that, press down, lock on it, and then if that's never going to be going out of focus, I just need to make sure I always work there. Now if, for example, it looks too dark or too bright, what I sometimes do is I use a reference for white balance. So if this was all my green workbench, it'd be quite dark. So what I do is I bring in something white, like this pot, or I've got this Tamiya thing, and you lock on that, and that then sets the white balance. So if you're using a phone for filming, make sure it's an iPhone, make sure you use that. I had that phone for 3 years before I realised that was something you could do. So there you go. And now I've got no idea what I was talking about because I wandered off on a tangent like I always do. Vincent says he films with his Note 4, Galaxy Note 4, and then plugs into his PC and cut and paste into a folder that build. One thing I do is when I'm normally filming, because I'm not using my old phone, the phone, my old iPhone 5, is permanently attached to the angle poise lamp that I use to lock the camera on. So it's onto there permanently. I've then got a cable that goes straight from the phone into the PC. And all I ever do is unplug it from the PC and back in again. So it's permanently connected up via the lightning cable port. And I just pop it into the PC, transfer the files, unplug it from the PC again. So all the USB cable that comes out of this is like taped to the angle poise rig, so I'd never have to fart around with the phone. It's always permanently set up basically. What else are we doing? Smooth says he uses Adobe Premiere Elements 12. Yeah, I use Movavi. I used to use Windows Movie Maker because it was free, but after a while you realise how limited it is. So I got Movavi because it's only 30 quid, And it's not the best in the world, but it works. It works. It's also got a setting in it so you can set it to take advantage of Intel processors, which my rendering, since I got my PC rebuilt, my rendering time's gone from about 2 hours for a 45-minute video to about 10 minutes. So, yes! What else are we doing? JS Idaho, or JS has got a scope dog in his stash. Good. Yeah, says Dave Wise, the rum gun marker. Yeah, but I bet Ted will be out of focus even if he had an iPhone 5. Yeah. Right, should I get some more work done? I always plan to do loads of work on these streams, but you guys are so engaging, I just end up talking to you. Oh, by the way, this coffee, I've had it since about 9 o'clock this morning, and it's still going strong. I don't mind cold coffee. Right, so what we're doing, we're putting in, so I think I decided to have the las cannons, not the missiles, because the missiles look cool, but las cannons look more cool. More cool? Can you be more cool? Let's have a look. So we've got some twin link las cannons, which require some constructions. So 36 and 35. 36 and 35, these are 80s. What numbers are those? The fun thing about these is the numbering doesn't follow any pattern. So there's 91 and there's 22. It's like, yeah, brilliant. You kind of just have to study them and know which bits are where. So we want... oh, what I'll do as well. Another handy tip for you when you're making a kit. Just tick off the bits you've done. So you know. It doesn't really apply to this, but for things like Bandai kits, little pre-assemblies that you've done, tick them off as you go along. Don't need that. So 35 and also 36. 5 is there. Put my visor on so I can see. How's picture and sound for you guys now we're close in, by the way? Is it still working okay? Let me know. 35 and also 36. 36. 38. That's 89. Yeah, they don't necessarily follow in a sensible order. 32, 38, 63, 66. That's 36. Bit are you? 69, who were nice round number. 32, 32, 43. It's 36. 32, 38. Kind of looks like that, but I can't. It mustn't be on this sprue. 68. Right, so it's not on this sprue then, is it? Let's just accept that and move on. It probably is on that sprue. You watch. I'll go back and it'll be on that sprue. 61. No, it's not on that. Tune in next week when I'll still be looking for this part. 22, 15. Any advance on 36, 36, 36? No, not on that one. Where is this piece then? Am I being super special? Oh, there it is. It's on its own in this little island of somewhere. I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. I've got a sneeze building up. Warning. Danger, Will Robinson. That bit. Those two. And I need 37 and 38. Okay, that makes sense. 37. I've got to build 2 of these las cannons. I like the phrase twin linked. These are twin linked las cannons. It just sounds like proper like military terminology. 37 and 38. Now we know where 38 is because I kept finding that. Doesn't ping off into the space. Downside of big sprues, when you're trying to get a piece off, you can't get your hand in to hold it in place. Okay, let us clean these pieces up. First of all, what are you doing in chat? I must say the level of details are magnificent. Is this what about this? You mean this kit? Oh, the level of detail is absolutely adorable. I just can't complain about these kits at all. No problems with them. They're kind of cartoony in a way in their level of detail, but That's because just the way you're meant to paint them. I mean, at the end of the day, these are meant to be tabletop miniatures. They're meant to be looked at from a distance on a tabletop. And they're designed with that in mind. Altogether, it's just fantastic. Ooh, gouge. Brilliant. Well done, Fox. Well done, lad. Bit of sandy. Ooh, wrong side. Yeah, I might have to fill that in later on because I've gouged it like an idiot. One. Every time I get this knife out and start doing this, I know some of you are clenching parts of your body. I know there's probably money passing, exchanging hands as well. How long till he stabs himself? Well, I stabbed myself before with the tweezers, so I beat you all to it. Captain Stabberty. I think I'll get these glued together first, and then I'll sort out what's left of the nubs. These ones here. I don't think you're going to see these, but I'll just take them off so there's no fit issues. This plastic is delightfully soft. You're going to enjoy building this, Terry. Trust me. Not this, I mean your rhino. You're going to have great fun. You're going to be jollity all round. So that needs to go on there like that, you see? Now, there will be a seam line, but fix that later. A little bit of glue and a little bit of this, and I can't pick it up. Arse. There we go. Arse. A bit of that, a little bit of this. Way around. So I do it that way, you spoon. Stupid boy. Yeah, that goes on there. Glue. Seal it. Now I didn't get rid of the nubs fully on there, but that's fine. Once the glue's dried, I can go and sand it back and make that all nice and neat. Get rid of that nub on the top there. I just wanted to get it glued together first and foremost. I like the fact now you have a big hole in the end of the las cannon. That's kind of cool. There's squishy on there, which will get me some of the glue splooging out, some of the plastic, which will make it nice and easy for later on when I need to get rid of the seam. Lovely. Lined up there, it's always a good start. Those. Done. There's a big seam line down the bottom here that would be a nightmare to get to, but you're not actually going to see that. Lined up. Yes, it is lined up. Everything is fine. Lovely. One last cannon. Is that a scalpel like the really sharp knife surgeons used? It's a Swan Morton. Well, scalpel, I guess. You get them from model making shops. Swan Morton, a kind of a well-known name in the sharpy stabby thing world. You take the blade. You can replace the blades. The blades are switchable. But Swan Morton's one of those kind of well-known hobby knife scalpel manufacturers. I have a reputation. I'm known as Captain Stabberty because I tend to stab myself a lot. But I have been doing this a long time, so there's a lot of things I've learnt to do that stop that happening. It just seems to be when I'm doing it on, on a live stream, I tend to stab myself. In reality, it's not something that happens very often. And when I do stab myself, it's usually with something other than a knife, like, I don't know, tweezers, or a chair, or something random like a table or something. Now, the reason I'm leaving a bit of a nub there is I don't want to sand these completely away and then find that the two halves don't match up because I've sanded one lower than the other. So I'm only sanding them a bit. When that glue's set, I'll come back and I'll sand away what nubs there are left. And if necessary, just do a little bit of sprue goo just to fill in seam line. If there's any gouges where I've gouged it, just get rid of that gouge and make it nice and round and smooth. Round and earthy. Little bit of glue and a little bit of trying to pick it up. Bit of this. There we go. Action squidge. Lined up anywhere near like lined up. That's better. Glue on there. I would say, in terms of, I know the details on these are exaggerated big time, they're like cartoony. But I would say, in terms of, you know, the crispness of the moulding and sharp detail, these are on a par with like your Tamiya type stuff. Modern Tamiya. But nice, crisp detail. Done. Beautiful, beautiful, lovely, lovely. 2 last cannons, attached, kitted and builtified. Now they need to go into there. But I shan't do that yet because I need to get rid of the seam on them when they have dried. So I can't do... I've done that step. Done that step. Haven't yet done step. So I need to make sure... I remember that. Not added yet. Not done that. No, I don't need to remind myself that I haven't installed the cockpit yet. It's just so I know at a glance what next do I need to do. So, what is chat doing? I can stab himself with the glue pot, says Chris. Yes, I can. Chris at Gross Models. Chris the Pyro, I stabbed myself 5 times building a Gundam. I once also accidentally dropped my knife straight down to the palm of my hand. I dropped my knife into my leg, into my upper thigh once. And I just sat there and looked at it with this knife sticking out of my leg and was like, arse. So I got it out and it bled for like about 1 million years. And this pair of jeans I'm wearing right now still has a hole in them from when the knife went through. But stabbing yourself in the hand, I don't like that. I nearly dropped a knife in my foot once. That would have sucked. I stabbed myself in the lower leg as well by dropping my knife. Vincent, I was looking for the late 80 Tamiya So Bad at Telford, which is still in production. It was that or the B1 since I was looking for kits I'd seen my dad build. Good thing about Tamiya is a lot of the kits they do are actually the old kits they used to do. And I was saying this last night in the stream. If you look at the one that Skipper Ted is building at the minute, he's building the SAS Desert Rat Wheelies Jeep. That kit was released in 1974. 1974, and yet it's, if you look at things like Airfix kits at the time, it's far superior to the stuff that say Airfix were putting out. That's 1974. Right, I want 2 and I want 4. That's 3, so I want 2. 2 and also 4. Wow, I've got like three sprue things there. It's a bit of overkill there, GW. Crikey Riley. Bit over the top. But we'll let it slide. Don't know how much I'll get done today, but we'll see how it goes. There's other advantage of doing these live streams as well is sometimes when I'm sitting at the bench and I'm like, I can't be bothered, I've got the energy to do anything today. I think to myself, you know what, I'll live stream it and then I have to do something. And then once I start doing it, I'm fine. But sometimes just motivating yourself to work. Anthony Lewis, I dropped my knife on my foot once, stabbed right through my pinky toe. Now I have a nice little scar. Hey, yeah, I've learned not to work barefoot or bare anything, to be honest. Just wear like metal plate. when I've got a knife in my hand, make sure you're wearing some kind of metal plate. Leather armor does nothing. I've got Tamiya Hanamag in my stash that I first built in 1975, says Tony Black. Yeah, I built that one. Awesome kit. Right, number 4. Part number 4. Part number 4 is that shape. That one there. Part number 5, 4. There we go. If I seem like a bit lost, by the way, that I'm going through my sprue and I'm like, I don't know where this thing is and I can't find it. The reason is, when you build Gunpla, you get used to the way Gunpla sprues work. Like, you know that A is always the multicolour sprue and typically always has like the parts for the head and the V-fin. You know what You know what the leg parts look like. You know what the arm... You kind of start to reckon... You could give me any Gunpla kit now that I've never seen before, and I could tell you, well, that's for the leg, that's for the arm, that's a part of the knee, this is part of the torso, because you get used to it. So when you go back and do a normal kit, and you're like, I don't know anything, especially when they're not in any numerical order. It's an adventure. You don't know what you're looking for, and you don't know where it is, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Ooh, John Byers says, a friend of mine told me a fellow he knew who was haemophiliac, who dropped his knife in his leg and bled out. Ew. Yeah, that's not awesome. It's kind of the thing where if you've got haemophilia, you probably don't want to be doing anything that involves sharp knives anyway. And I would have thought. It could have been an eating knife, I suppose. Yeah, I'm just grateful that don't have haemophilia, because I would have bled out by now. I wouldn't be here today. The amount of stabbity I get up to. Get these little nubules off. So forgiving, this plastic. It really is so forgiving. Couldn't ask for better plastic. It's just not brittle. It's not... You know, you clip it off with the nippers and it doesn't leave a gouge in the piece. It just smushes off and it's just so forgiving. It's just... You couldn't ask for a better... You couldn't ask for a better build experience in a glue kit. I'm just spoiled by Bandai and Games Workshop, really. Let's just be honest. Oh, Canada, I can't remember the words. Yeah, that's my favourite national anthem at the moment. Oh, Canada. That's also stuck in my head. It's force of habit, because when I'm working, I'm usually whistling or singing or listening to something, so really hard not to be whistling away to myself. Nub. Big nubs. Gentleman's Quarterly. Big nubs. La, 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 la. In first aid, you were told to leave the knife in as it bleeds more when you take it out. Yep. Apparently, if you get hit by an arrow, the worst thing you can do is take the arrow out. Not that you tend to get hit by an arrow. Ooh, nearly stabbed myself then. Oh, that was close. My thumb slipped. A lot of attachment points on these. I've got to remember where all these are now when I sand them in a minute. Me. Fox, I don't know if it's baked. It feels much like Bandai, says John Byers. It does a bit, but it doesn't seem to fall apart when you put thinners all over it, which is quite nice. I mean, they don't need the flexibility like Bandai do. There's another... All the numbers. I've still got 2 more to go. Good God, man. How many ways does this need to be attached to the sprue? Pfft. It's always good to have more than less, but... Pfft. It's going to go badly wrong, isn't it, if I do it that way? Anthony, blame Canada, says Anthony Lewis. Lol, sorry, had to. Smoo says, I use a Smoo Industries extra large ball anti-stabbity device thingy on my knife. Vincent Mr. Loth says, not having to deal with knives most of the time is the blessing that my newly acquired God Hands gave me. Yeah, the God Hands nippers. Just double check. I wanted to make sure none of you have done like a super chat and I've missed it. I don't think. Suddenly realised a period where I've not looked at the screen, and if any of you have done a super chat and I've missed it, I have to apologise profusely. La, la, la. Well, Fox, when you think of it, each sprue gate is where they inject the plastic, and it's thick plastic. Yeah, there is that. There is that. They do use approximately all the plastic in the world. But that's what it takes to get such brilliantly awesome and fantastic kits, then I'm not going to complain. This is right on the corner and I can't get the blade in there without putting my thumb at serious risk. This could go wrong, folks. I'm going to get the ambulance on standby just in case. Right, let's get this sandidated a little bit. Got to find all these nubs now. Thankfully, once you've cut them off, and they don't leave big gouges, they just go away. Once you cut them off, it only takes a tiny amount of sanding to get it nice and smooth. It's very forgiving. It's like if you compare my desk after doing a Gumpler and after doing one of these, after getting all the parts prepped, I'm doing a Gumpler, this desk will be just knee high in dust. If I finish this thing, it'll be a little bit of dust and nothing major. Hoping that's hidden. Assuming it is. Those. Little bit of sandy. Oh, I've just remembered I'm having curry for tea tonight. Kebab shop curry, so it could be a kebab. Might be a curry, might be kebab. I don't know. Decided yet. Get to. But that little bit of sand in there just took that nub off that surface completely. That's, if that was a Bandai kit, it'd take a lot more work to get that smooth. It's a little bit left. A lot more work to get that smooth. Visible under the light? Nope. Good girl. Good girl. I'm doing this off camera, by the way. Do let me know in the chat, even though I'm not looking at the chat very often. Yeah, there's no good way of letting me know, is there? Chris the Pyro says, I don't know what Games Workshop used to make their kits, but it kind of reminds words. Wow, let me do that sentence again with actually more than one word. I don't know what Games Workshop used to make their kits, but it kind of reminds me of a harder version of a polycap from Bandai. Smooth says it's just styrene. Yeah, it's just some weird soft version. A bit like ABS in a way, I suppose. Dead nice. Dead nice, it's lovely. I'll buy that for $1. Nub in there. That's where these little thinny sticks come in handy. Get them into the gap between the two nuts who are bolts. Should have said bolt really, shouldn't I? Am I off camera? I'm off camera. Where's the camera focused? There we are. Sorry guys. I don't know. The only way I can see what's on screen is by looking behind me. So, wow, that's all good. In case you're wondering, I will be filming this as a build. Yeah. It's just this tedious bit I can do as a live stream. I mean, tedious for me, not tedious for you. Well, it might be tedious for you, I don't know. Watching me just sand things is probably... Oh, there's a nut come off there, look. I seem to have lopped a nut off. Oh, fudge. Oh well. Probably fix that somehow. Sure I can make a nut. There will be a way. Right, so, that goes there. Dave says he's hoping for a fry-up with he's spotted bacon and sausages in the fridge. Yes. Well, you know, they don't just magically turn into a fry-up. Somebody has to do the actual frying of it up. Matt Baker says, hungry now. Been here for almost an hour and got 6 stickers on my sandrock, says Anthony. Won't be long before my huge pan of chili is ready, says Paul Stewart. Chili dogs beckon. Oh, yeah. Or as an old saying goes, chili dogs always bark at night. An old American saying for you. Chili dogs always bark at night. That's a book by a person who I can't remember. It's a great idiom. Chili dogs always bark at night. Yeah, so I think tonight, if we have a curry, it'll be lamb karahi, because my local takeaway does fantastic lamb karahi with what kind of rice? Garlic rice, perhaps. I don't have to actually see any human beings for about 48 hours, so having stinky garlic breath is not a problem. Garlic rice and maybe a couple of chapati. I can make my little curry cubes. And I have a can of mango something or other. It's not mango lassi. It's like a can of, it's a fizzy drink. It's mango flavoured. Rubicon mango. For some reason it works perfectly with their curries, so I get a can of that as well from them. Can of that. If I have a kebab, I have a very specific order. I walk in and I say, gentlemen, one of your biggest, filthiest lamb kebabs, please. Lamb doner kebabs, please. And they provide me with the biggest, filthiest lamb doner kebab they can imagine. All the doner meat in the world. And then it's like, what do you want on it? And I just point to the entire section where they've got all the salads and the chilies and the sauce. All of that, please. All of it. All. And what sauces do you want? And they have 3 different sauces. And there's chili, there's the mint yogurt one, and there's mango. And I just say, all of those, please. All of them. All of the sauces. And then when I get it home, you unwrap this kebab with all the sauces and all the salad and sides, and it just explodes. It's a mess. It's just a heaving mess of goodness. And now my mouth is watering like the Hoover Dam had breached. I really shouldn't talk about kebabs when I'm trying to concentrate. Paul Stewart says karahi is a good shout. Demonstrates you're not a complete wuss with heat. I can eat a stronger curry, but I'll be blatantly honest with you, Paul. I'd much rather eat a reasonably hot curry, but in a way so I can enjoy the flavour. Then I don't mind eating a super hot curry, but to me it's just a waste of spending because you eat it and then you just suffer through it. So if I'm hungry, I'll eat a nice curry. If I'm out for a laugh with the mates, I'll get a big strong one. Wow, that's Okay, well this apparently goes on like this, but there's no actual pegs, it's just a little shelf there that it fits on. So you've got to really make sure you get that lined up spot on, because there's nothing to tell you if you're off a little bit. What's the next step after that? The next step is to forget all about it and come back to it much later. Wow. I could see that being interesting, gluing these in and not getting them lined up correctly. Yeah, that could be sad factory. I'd much rather have the piece to go over the top so I can make sure it's lined up. On there. Does that just go on there directly? Go on, that goes on like that. I don't know what Mum's watching downstairs, but I can hear like a screaming pig or a really loud seagull or something from downstairs. Strange. That goes like that, so this then needs to sit in there. I could glue it on and then loosely put the top bit on just to make sure it's all like, okay, that'll work. And put it together and then get that bit on there just to make sure it's all lined up nicey-ricey. This is just me fuffling about trying to make sure everything's as it should be. So on there, so let's get some extra thin first of all. Let's do a lot of extra thin. The only thing that does give me pause sometimes with these is the tenuous nature of some of the connections. Without pegs and holes, sometimes you are kind of asking for a bit of a miracle to make sure you haven't screwed it up. When I did the towel thing, there was one little bit, it was like this, and I hadn't lined it up just right, and I had to really fudge it around a bit to get it to fit. That's on. Glued in, make sure I'm in shot. Idiot. A little bit down there just to smooth it off in case of any sploogage. I love that wolf's head on the side. That's just fantastic. The best bit is when that's finished, that's going to be bright, shiny gold. One thing I do love about the Warhammer universe is that there's lots of bling. It's all gold and gold trim, and you get some of the supermarine, some of the power armor the Marines wear, and it's like white with gold trim, and it's like, yeah, yes, that is. Right, how does this go together now? Then that needs to making sure this all fits later on down the track. So it goes on there, like no, that goes on there. Should fit there, and that doesn't fit. Okay, that's weird. Nearly spilt me glue. Trying to make sure I don't have a fit issue later on. That should just go on top. That literally does just go on top like that. Okay. There. Goes in there. On that corner. That goes there. I'm sure it will all fit together beautifully when it's done. It's just, I like to doubt things. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll all work out well in the end. Let's just assume it'll all be fine and hunky-dory. Don't worry. What's the worst that can happen? Don't even go. Okay, so that's on. Use white tack, Foxx, to temp fix the top part to get it right. Yeah, that's I'd rather just. I know that's the logical way to do it, but I just want to dive in and do it. I'm far too impatient for all that nonsense. I mean, I've got to glue all things on the side and stuff anyway, so I need to glue it now. So, we'll never mind. If it didn't fit perfectly, I can always fill gaps and clean it up some other way. So, it'll be fine. Ready up on there, I think. Well, this bit goes together beautifully. Often I think things don't fit, and then I realise it's me being special because I haven't figured out how to make it fit. Right, so a little bit of sanding marks in there, but that's fine because that'll be covered up with the primer anyway. So that's all good and gravy. That's one side. You see how big this thing's going to be? It's going to be there with the cockpit, and then the thing at the back, the engines. It's quite a big puppy. Cool. I'll do one more of those. I'll do the other side, and then I think we'll call it quits for today. Are you impressed? I haven't been for a great big week yet. Let's have a look. Right, what I'm going to do... Have a swig of my coffee. I'm going to make some chili dogs. It was a great book. He also did They Tore My Heart Out and Stomped That Sucker Flat. Yeah, shoot low boys there riding Shetland ponies and don't sit under the girl's grits tree with anyone but me. Yeah, it's Lewis Grizzard, that's it. My brother lives in Memphis and he sent me that book when he hadn't been there for very long. He moved over about 30 years ago. He sent me that book. It's a great book. Chili dogs always bark. I'm glad that somebody actually knew what that was because nobody I've ever spoken to ever has known that, got that reference. Lewis Grizzard. I must find that book. I've got to find it somewhere. I have it somewhere. Hello. Cutting, please. Cutting. Thank you. Kapling. Kapla. Oh, you spoon. I've got cutting fail. That didn't go well. There we go. See? See how much better it is when you do what I want you to do. I'll get these off the sprue. I shall break for a cigarette for a moment. get these glued together. I'll check what we're doing in the chat as well. While I'm on a tube. We will come off. Get these attachicated. I think that'll probably do it for today. How long have we been going? For almost 3 hours. Wow. You've got to be impressed that in 4 hours, me and Ted both completely, well, not completely built, but built and painted completely a World War II tank. In the same amount of time, I'm going to have stuck together like 4 things. Yeah. See what happens when I'm on my own. If I thought ahead, I would have got someone to like do the reading of the chat like Chris did. But never mind. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for a quick wee because I need to go for a great big wee. So I'm going to turn my microphone off for a second. Stay there, I'm coming straight back. When I can turn the microphone. I am returned. Yes, I need to go for my great big wee TM, my trademark great big wee. Right, so I'm going to have a quick cigarette while we're talking, read the chat and catch up, and then we'll get this done. And I think we'll have had a good day then. So where are we up to? Polystyrene can contain a percentage of ABS. Maybe that's the difference with Games Workshop stuff, says Vincent. Yeah, it's ABS itself contains a percentage of polystyrene as well. That's why some ABS you can glue together with polystyrene cement like extra thin if it's got polystyrene in it. And some ABS it just won't work because there's no polystyrene for the extra thin to dissolve. So the content of both can vary. Tony Black says he found Zvezda. Plastic very soft. Battle damage for that missing nut, Fox. Yeah, I'll do a big blast mark right there where the nut's gone. Is that still lined up? Yes. I'll keep that stood up so it doesn't bend. Standing now, sir. Standing. I'm quite energised for this kid. Just looking at all the chunky details makes you kind of really want to start painting it. That's almost like that funny post on the Boom Hut the other day. Paul Stewart says his chili dogs keep barking the next day too. You need to get Cesar Romero in to train your chili dogs to stop barking. That's what it is. They call it a king dobber here, Fox, but they wrap it in a large naan. What, the kebab? Well, yeah, we get it in a large naan. Wait, what are we talking about? The kebab? Because we get it in a massive naan bread as well. So yes, my big kebab would have a big naan bread in it. But I like their coconut naan, their Peshwari naan. Because when I get the kebab, the naan bread's there and it's massive. I mean, when I get a kebab from my kebab shop, it's like that big. It's huge. But they do a Peshwari naan where the sugar and the coconut inside is this bright pink layer. It's fantastic. Andy Butcher, hey Andy. Dobber, I mean Donna, says Smooth. Hey, Dobber means big. Big Dobber means big round here in the north, mate. So, yeah, big Dobber will probably just work as a big Donna. Balaclava Bob, you can't beat a dirty kebab. Yeah. Let's have a look. Lol Dave, Paul Stewart. If I was told that story about one person in chat and had to guess who it was, you'd have been my first guess, Dave. Oh, Dave, a kebab put me in A&E and I fell asleep with my head in the kebab and the chili sauce ended up in my eye. I looked like Mad-Eye Moody for a week. Only you, Dave, could fall asleep and get chilly in your eye. Oh dear. Where can I acquire a Foxx-approved stability implement for model-making purposes? emodels.co.uk, your one-stop need for your model-making supplies. Or any art store, or wherever you are. Depends where you are. If you're in the UK, Hobbycraft sell these exact ones. So, I think. Or a local model shop. Or eModels, of course. I'm sponsored by them. I have to suggest them. Chris, any child soft play equipment would stab Fox. Yeah, pretty much. Mike D, this is my first live feed. I must admit, having this play while I work on my diorama is awesome. Thank you, sir. I tip my hat to you. Absolutely my pleasure. I love doing these. I've not done many of them because often the only thing I can really do while I'm live streaming is like denubbing or doing decals, because anything else I need to concentrate on what I'm doing. And as you've seen, I don't actually get much stuff done when I'm doing these. It's more just a chance to hang out. So I will do more. But it's usually when I'm at the start of a build and I can do this kind of just generical stuff. Gross models. We should all go now. No! I hope you're still there. He wrote for a newspaper in Atlanta. Sadly, he passed away in '94. Oh, sad. That's what's his name? The bloke that did Chili Dogs Always Sleep at Night. Bark at Night. Wow, brain's going. You realise we're waiting in live time for a fellow to pee. Yes. Shh. True fans. Lol, John. Nobody's going to tell him I said that, right? No. Nobody told me that. Fox, the sound was still on. No, it wasn't, because I had the flashing light on the microphone. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. You can try it, Chris, but you won't get away with it. Dave, even. Yeah, so I'm feeling quite jazzed for this kit now. So it looks like there's a 3 and a 4 Swan and Morton knife not used new. Blah, blah, blah. Wow, words. Looks like there is a 3 and a 4 Swan and Morton knife. What do you use, Fox? I have no idea, but it says 3 on the end. So I guess it's a number 3. Swan and Morton number 3. It's got a measuring thing on that side. Do it on camera, dear. It says number 3 on the bottom there. So that'll be a number 3. And as for which blades I use, I have no idea. I think it's a 10. I think most people use 10s or 11s. And I either use these blades, which are the sharp, flat, pointy ones, or you can get the slightly curved ones, which are good for photo etch, if you want to get photo etch parts off. I don't know the difference between the number 3 and the number 4, though. I think it's just the handle. This is a crappy one I've got from somewhere. But it's also a Swan Morton, and this is a number 5. This is just a plastic disposable blade. Handle. You'll see this on a lot of workbenches. Hobby stores tend to send these. But they fit, as far as I know, they all fit the same blades. So it's all gravy. Got 2 knives on the desk, and some of you now are panicking and sweating, aren't you? I can see. Right, let's put that out. Let's get these bits done. And then I'll... What time are we on? What time is it? Let me have a look. It is... Oh, it's 6:30. I need to go and sort kebabs out. Let's get this done right fast so I can get my kebab lust sorted out. Right, you guys have kept me here for hours. Brilliant, thank you. Okay, nubbing. Ping. Oh, the only thing is the nubs don't necessarily ping. Not a lot of pingage. And the time it's taken me to do all this, basically that, Zach over at Zach Aurelius built from the sprue an entire mega size. Oh, gouge that. Entire mega size Unicorn Gundam from taking stuff off the sprue. I suck. Yeah, that's why I didn't do a live stream too much of the building my big unicorn, because it would have taken me weeks. One. Scrubbity scrub, nubbity nub. I need to make sure these ones are flat, because this is a bit where it glues. On these as well. Get a 3rd knife and learn to juggle. Yeah. Rat Pack 30. Well, I'll have to ditch you a little now. Someone wants to play PUBG with me. Oh. Enjoy. Chris, Paul and I as Team Inept, will at some point we're going to get our crap together and start playing some PUBG. We've all got it. We just keep not actually getting around to doing it. Or rather, I keep not getting around to doing it. We will do some PUBG at some point. Won't we, Chris? And Paul? Yes. Yes, Uncle Fox, we will. Oh, I made a right mess of them. Might need some cleanup later on when I get all them sorted. Or Primer might cover it. We'll find out. See, I'm no professional. Even I make mistakes. Proud to admit. Even I screw things up occasionally. Not the fact you screw something up, it's what you do about it that matters. Like not knowing where the goddamn camera's focused. Idiot. Always a winner. Now I will clean the pieces, says Grinnell. On the same time I finished all my holes and panel lines. Ahaha. Shut up. Make me feel bad now. Well, you're not speaking to like 300 people in chat. It's a good excuse. I'm going to keep milking that one. Finished all my holes and panel lines. That's the one thing I've never been able to do is work fast. Which is why I'm really surprised that when me and Ted did that live stream, I actually got an entire model built and put together and painted. That's gonna be a record for me. That gouged it there. I'm gonna have to fill that in. I think. On. Made a right mess of that, you silly buggy. Get my seam remover tool. Still feel it. You haven't got one of these, by the way, the Citadel seam remover? Get one. They are incredible tools. They are fantastic tools. It's like all the ability of shaving plastic down, but unlike a knife, it doesn't skitter and gouge, and you get a nice smooth surface. The design for taking like seam lines off figures and things, but they just come in handy for everything. Like if you've got rid of a nub and you want to sand it flat, or if you've got two halves of something that aren't quite level, you can use this to get them flat. Incredible tool, well worth the money. It's the one tool I would say is absolutely worth the money you pay for it from Citadel. I played alone the other day, says Chris, at Grace Models. It wasn't nearly as much fun on PUBG. Yeah, come on, Paul, we all miss Chris falling off things. It's not Chris that falls off things, Dave. It's somebody else that falls off things, and it's not really falling. It's being pushed or being catapulted. I don't think falling is really... You make it sound almost voluntary. Grumble, grumble, grumble. For those that don't know, me, Chris and Paul do game live streams, and they're always trying to push me off things. If I'm stood on edge, they'll do all their cunning wiles to get me to stand on an edge without realising I'm putting myself in danger. And you know what? I always fall for it. I'm an idiot. What can I say? Ping! I'd pinged. Yay! You can ping these. I've just found out. Yay. Wow, all the nubs. I don't do the falling. That's Fox's thing. Falling with help, says Chris. Falling with a lot of help. More assistance than I could possibly imagine. Right. Go. Lovely. Lovely. Now I am entirely confident that the fact I've just glued that other bit on and not really worried about it too much will probably come back and bite me in the ass. But he who dares wins. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. All good fun. I'd rather do it and screw it up, and then you have evidence of why you don't want to do that because you've just seen me do it, than be super cautious and get everything right all the time and then not give a chance for you guys to learn anything. If I screw something up, I can at least turn around then and say, hey, I did this and it was a really bad idea, so this is why you don't want to do it. Saying that is better than saying, I know what I'm doing, do exactly what I'm doing, it'll be fine. I'd rather say, no, I don't know what I'm doing, I screwed it up, and here's why you don't want to do just what I did just then. It'll be fun, don't worry. It's a hard little angle, this one. So, big, fat, nasty kebab, I think, for tea tonight. and then much fatness for the next 2 or 3 days. A couple of cans of Guinness left over in the fridge. May have to investigate tactical options for their use and implementation. Think about his kebabs now. I'm rushing now because I'm thinking about kebabs. Filthy, dirty food. Filthy, dirty filth. Yes, that kind of food's not healthy, but you only have one life. May as well have fun. I'd never be a vegetarian again. No chance. It would never happen. I was once for a few years once. I don't even remember why. Couldn't do it now. I'd be bored for about a week. But what, no kebabs? No lamb karahi curries. Where do I jump out? Where's the ejector seat? I found the Swan and Morton on Hobbycraft, but it will not let me add it to my basket even though it's in stock. Does the whole Star Trek there is some regulation about buying knives online. That might be a problem. Depends on, if I remember rightly, some retailers will look at where you are in the world, like what part of the country you're in. Block certain things. And there are restrictions about selling knives. You have to be over 18. It's the law. So I don't know how it works. If you're not signed in with an account and proof of previous purchases, they might just assume you're a kid, or for their own safety, not allow you to buy it. You may just have to go to the actual store and say, "Hello, I'm a big bloke now. Can I buy this knife, please? Thank you." You know what else they sell at Hobbycraft? For those of you in the UK, which is really weird, but not when you think about it. They sell Mod Podge. My local Hobbycraft's got like a basket full of it. Hundreds of pots of Mod Podge. Those that don't know, it's something you use in decoupage, but it's also brilliant for models because you can use it to make water effects for your dioramas. Mod Podge. It's just like really thick. It looks like kind of super thick PVA glue, but you can sculpt it into like churned up ocean waves and things. It's fantastic. I do need to use some at some point. But that would be making a boat, and I don't really do boats. Yeah, if you're in for making like a diorama and you want some like a fast flowing churny river or sea, you're making like a diorama of a port or a dock, get to Hobbycraft if you're in the UK and get some Mod Podge. MOD, next word PODGE. It's designed to be used as water in dioramas, but it's a perfect thing to use. Not thin, so you can build it up and you put it on, you sculpt it with a spatula or something, and then let it dry for a while. It dries clear. This isn't the best sanding job in the world, but I am going over this with primer, and it will hide much of these very fine sanding marks. Not a Gunpla, so I'm not having to worry about that too much. You get to know what you can let slip and what you have to worry about. Be careful, you don't take the bolts off again. I could probably replace that bolt with a little tiny dot of CA glue applied by a cocktail stick of some sort, perhaps. Syringe, expert syringe. Come on, out you come. No, don't do it that way. These are quite tricky because you've got two bolts here, and I've got to try and work between these two bolts without lopping one off. Close. Try a craft shop, says Tony Black. Oops, where's ever just a good sign when I can't tell where the nub is. There it is. Rubbing all the nubs away. Beautiful plastic. Beautiful plastic. Yeah, it's a bit knackered, that, isn't it? You can tell I've had these for a while. Okay, have I left any nubs? Nubtacular! Yeah, it's not the best sanding job in the world, but I don't need to worry about it. So primer will cover a lot of it up. So, and I will be doing some wear and tear on this. It will be weathered, so I don't need to worry too much. And from the work I've done on these kits before in this plastic, it is very forgiving for slight sanding marks anyway. It's fine. Oh, where's that piece gone? So this needs to go on here, like this, you see? A plank. So same again. To glue this little puppy on here. And then do a little, some sort of testificals. Sort of the glues. Oops, that's a lot of the glues. Generous applications of glue. Place. Run it round the edge. There you go. That, right in that little bit there. There, yeah. It's lovely, that is. Diamond. It's diamond, that is. Diamond. Yeah. Lovely. Stuck. Auntie Lewis says, well, Fox, it's been fun, but I have to head out. It's been nice to catch one of your live things. Thank you very much. I'm going to actually finish in a bit anyway. I'm just going to put this bit on, then I'll call it quits myself. So thank you very much for watching, dude. Enjoy your weekend, the rest of the weekend. Still don't know how this actually fits together. Hang on, put the lid on that first. That gap goes in there. Does it just sit on top? Stained. That just goes on top or what? I'll find out when I actually do attach it all together and it doesn't totally fit. I'm sure. There. There. Sometimes it is a pain not having proper slots and tabs. Just saying. Sometimes. I'm sure it'll be a lot easier when there's actually a floor on there as well. That goes in there, which is fine. How does that sit on top? Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, I see. All right, that does make sense. Okay, yes, there is some flex. Oh, that's fine. That's going to fit fine. That is. That'll fit, no problem. No problem at all. Like a glove for a princess. Right, that's cool. So we're good with those. So that's those two side parts done. I'm not going to put that one flat. I'm going to leave it like that for a moment. Two side parts. Fox, you do a better Colin than Smoo does. I've forgotten. It's Colin like, all right, like that. I can't remember what you sound like, Colin. It's Colin like that. It's a little bit wide, boy. A little bit woo, a little bit wide. Yeah. I do lots of silly voices because I'm an idiot. But my favourite one is my kind of Fable 2 or Fable 3 conman merchant. It's like, what can I interest you in today? What fine items can you buy from me that you won't regret buying at all? Mike D. Oops, just dropped my airbrush needle. So sorry, off to the hobby store. Thanks again, sir. I had a wonderful time. Oh, you dropped your needle. That's my job. Thank you for watching. So, we've got the 2 side parts done. I'm going to put that there flat. We've got the cockpit and gefarten. Mids are sitting, one's the legs built. And we've got the upper halves built. A wee little fella there, right, with his, to go in his, right in there, do it again. Let's just make sure he still fits. Just make sure this little fella still fits inside his magical space car. I've got to kind of practice getting him in, because once he's in, I've got to glue him in after it's painted. He sits in there like that. Lovely, lovely. John Bayer says, I like your American voice. You actually nail it quite nicely. Do I do an American voice? No, I do one sometimes, I suppose. I don't do a specific area. Like, no, I can't do one now. I'm actually on the prompting. I'm quite pleased. So he fits in perfectly. His hands are all in the right place. So we'll keep him separate so I can paint the upper half of him separately. I've got to clean up the seams on those 2 las cannons, twin linked las cannons, before I can stick them into here. And then I've got all that stuff to do. So what I'm going to do, I'll probably spend the rest of today and probably a chunk of tomorrow getting all this built. And then I will start on with the priming and the painting. So assuming the weather's good, I'll rattle can prime it with some Citadel Chaos Black, because it takes me 5 seconds rather than getting the airbrush out. If it's throwing it down and cold and miserable, I'll have to use the airbrush. And then I'll crack on with the painting. And I will film the build, well, the paint. I won't film the build because I've just shown it. But I will film the paint job. When it will come out, I don't know, because I need to finish the unicorn as well. So it might be I'll get as much of this done in the next 5 days as I can. And then go back to the unicorn. So it might be the first episode of this goes up in the next week or 2, or it might come after. If it might be that I get a few episodes of this filmed, then I can have it on a stockpile for when the unicorn's finished. So we'll see, But I'll post pictures up in the boom hut and stuff and other places. But yes, I think we'll call it quits there, because I'm hearing the siren call of the wild kebab. But thank you so much for coming along, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all of you joined in the chat. But that'll do it for today, I think. That'll do it for this one. Excuse me. Prime it chaotically, says John Bias. Two-handed. But yeah, that'll do us. So thank you very much for watching. I never know how to end these live streams. Stay tuned for more. We'll see. I won't do another live stream of the building bit, though, because you don't want more of these. But I will do more live streams like this, impromptu ones. As always, I'll give you absolutely no notice whatsoever. So kudos to those of you who came in and were able to join. Until next time, I've got to get the button ready now. Until next time, thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Here's looking forward to a good 2018. And I hope whatever you've been doing while I've been doing all this nonsense, you've been having fun and not stabbing yourself too much. And I'll see you soon, but I'll see you in the boom hut. Don't forget, if I post up in the chat earlier on, if you're not already in the Discord for the boom hut, I put it in the chat, wherever that will be for you. Go and find that link. Do go and join the Discord. It's good fun. But anyway, I'm going to bugger off now and get kebabs. Take care. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. And until next time, as my camera's wobbling because I'm fiddling with the computer, earthquake. Adios amoebas. Where's the camera? There it is. Adios amoebas.